Three, two, one. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 261 of the KBMOD podcast. It is January 8th, 2016, and it is the first podcast of the new year. Did I say 2016? Who trolled me? Brad, did you change the 2017 to 2016? Someone did that. Brad.
Did you say
I didn't do it,
2016
dude.
just now?
I said 2016. 100%,
Oh, no.
Because I read what's on the
We have to do it,
teleprompter, dude.
Oh,
to do
who
it
put
over.
that in there? Oh, 2016. Who put that in there?
That's 100% Brad. I just
No,
read
I swear to
exactly-
God, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, then
Well,
it
now
was- it
you've
was-
cursed the year 2017. It was going
What
so
a
well.
ruse.
Son of a.
We had the
bitch.
Hollywood sign change. We were
I can't
on a
believe that
good
just
track.
happened.
You want to try?
It
that
literally
again,
said
Scott?
2016 in the doc. All right. You know what? No. You know what?
We
We're
need
just
to
gonna
start
leave it.
over.
No. We got stuck in a loop before.
It's
We don't
too
want to
late
risk
now.
it.
Now, people are going to hear that and they're going to click off the episode.
They're just gonna.
Oh,
Trust
I got
me,
the
it's-
wrong year.
If that's why they click off the episode, then
Bad upload.
all right, sorry. It is 2017. I had incorrect information in the document, even though I knew it was 2017. I was just reading it straight out. But yeah, our first episode, and we've got the whole crew here, and we've had the holidays. We had New Year's.
We had a
And
couple
you
weeks
know
off because Christmas was on a Sunday, and the New Year's Day was also on a Sunday, and we thought we might have a cast on New Year's Day, but it didn't work out. Scott was moving. Everyone else was doing other stuff. So we're back. We're back after a break, refreshed.
We're back, and here to bring you some more exciting podcast. I think one thing I'm really looking forward to this year is the addition of a couple new members who I'd like to announce now. And sorry, I'm trying to watch Brandon's face, but it's on delay. He has no idea I'm about to do this. I actually have nothing to announce. I just really wanted to make
Oh,
Brandon
come
swerve
on.
a little bit. Did you get excited though, Katie? Did
My
you think I was
emotions got
excited?
played with in real time.
Did you think I was going to bring on somebody to replace you?
Yeah, I did. I was
Is that
like,
what
we're
you were
going to
scared
get
about?
extra. We're going to get
No.
shots.
Shots.
Wait, are you always worried about just somebody coming in and just like taking your spot? I want to get to the
Worried
bottom
is
of
no,
this.
not taking my spot. I mean, I would love if we had a happy medium of 8 people for every podcast.
I think that's
the
fair.
ideal.
I think adding I would say 8 would be the ideal number,
I
but
think KD is scared a little bit because if he got kicked off the cast, he'd have to change his Tinder profile.
Oh,
That's-
hold on. My
Oh, man.
Tim is easily the most attractive member of the KB Mod podcast.
I mean, it is pretty attractive. So, Katie, that brings me to a great. So we gotta,
Oh,
in regards to anything going on in real life for anybody, I think we all probably have a few things that we could share over the holidays, the New Year's, while we've been gone. But I have to ask you, any new action on that Tindy profile?
I want to clarify.
Okay.
Believe me, when action does happen, first place I will report is the KB Mod podcast.
Mm.
But unfortunately,
Okay.
there's nothing going on right now.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Why?
I wish I had
appreciate the
something
honesty.
good to tell you guys. I wish I had more.
Yeah.
Almost getting caught smoking weed in a canal,
Yeah.
but
So-
can't all be winners.
Have you just not been trying? Or
I've been
what's going on,
I've been
man?
swiping right. I've been casting my
Mm.
line. There's just no bites.
So I'm wondering if you're maybe using the wrong bait. Now, you had sent me a couple of the photos that you were using, and they were all anime heroes. I'm wondering if maybe you want to put more pictures of yourself, but I don't know.
And my first picture is my Naruto cosplay. I don't know
Yeah,
if anyone's not
exactly.
swiping right.
All right, hold on. You guys keep this going with Katie. I have to go kill my cat. I'll be right back in a second. Yeah, be right back.
No, but yeah, we're still trying that.
Well, aside from Tinder, then what have you been up to these past couple weeks, KD?
Surprisingly little. I thought I would do some stuff. Well, nothing really exciting for Christmas, but I think the only really notable thing I did is we had like a bunch of family in town, and the better part of my family are like really, really into like IndyCar and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so we live pretty close to like the raceway in Indianapolis. So they were putting on like a a light show down there, and when I say light show, that is like the least glamorous term for what happened. Like you pay $30 and you slowly drive down a road with some terrible, like it's like Christmas lights arranged to make shapes. Now I recognize the talent, put into, oh, it's a little snowman throwing snowballs with timed lights. Oh, it's so cute. I'm not paying $30. That's not the memorable occasion for
Don't they
Christmas.
do it by
And,
the
like,
whole car?
Yeah, it was for the whole car. So
Yeah.
we had like 6 people crammed in there, but I hate to think there's like one person like I'm gonna even celebrate Christmas by myself just watching the lights. Like, no, there are so much better things to do. I think the main reason like my family bought it was to like drive down. They let you drive down the actual like racetrack.
Oh, really?
And so they like switched who was driving. Yeah, and like I mean, I'm not really into IndyCar, but my sister is driving and she's freaking out like I'm driving where Dan Weldon drove. But no, I mean nothing I'm into. So
That's pretty cool. $30 seems a little steep, maybe to just drive by some Christmas lights. But I guess if you're getting to drive on the track at Indy, I could see people paying that for sure.
yeah.
I just came back. Was this a Tinder date that he did?
Oh.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. This was with the fam. Was this Christmas stuff?
Yeah, it was like a family
Oh,
thing.
okay.
I was
Okay.
kind of dragged into.
$30 though, and you were driving to like through a Christmas display. Sounds like.
It was you were driving down a road and they had some like Christmas lights set up for like different like I guess like festive images or whatnot, like or lights arranged to be like snowmen or like elves. It's not. I mean, it's tough. You know what I mean? Nothing impressive.
Okay. Anything else? Any family drama or anything happen with you? Or was it pretty safe? Pretty safe
okay.
holiday. Oh wow! I love when
Brother
Katie
and
goes.
I-
Oh, okay.
So I believe I teased this last episode where we talked
Yes, you
about
did.
holiday traditions. My brother and I, we had our annual chess match that I prophesized last episode. So that happened.
Right.
And I did pretty freaking well. I'll be honest. I got to the point, I'm pretty sure it was just like he had only his like king left or whatever. And I pretty much had him in a checkmate.
Uh-huh.
It was in a certain way where, let me think. It's hard to really describe what he did. He started pulling out that cheap, dirty tricks, like making me do moves I wasn't dedicated to doing. And he was like, "Oh, you got me, because you could just do this and I'll do this." And like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just do this." It's you see, like if I had a board in front of me on cam, I could show you guys. I would.
He was
But it
doing
would
the mind
be-
games.
He was
Some mind games,
Yeah.
and he was basically saying like, "Oh, well, I can't make this move because you can just, make this move." Little did I know I should have analyzed the theoretical move, which then became the actual move after I already moved my piece. And he took another one of my pieces and like, okay, well, I didn't really want to make that move. I mean, at the end of the day, I won the game, but you
You did
didn't have to
win.
pull out. I did win, but he was pulling out. He said to me, "All I want to do is win. I only care about winning." I'm like, damn, dude. I
Did he
sat
say
down here.
all I want to do is win no matter what? Got money on my mind. I can't ever get enough.
That is word for
Step
word.
up.
I don't know how you got a hold of that information.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked about a strategy before he played you, and I told him.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, now I know
that
who to blame.
mantra.
Oh, but
Well, that's good. So
at
you did
least
win,
at least
though,
for
at
the
the
next
end.
year,
That's good.
you get to lord over your brother. That
Yes.
that you're the superior chess
Absolutely.
player.
You also teased a bit of a fiasco in the when we were offline about a
Mhm.
T-shirt issue or something that happened. Did you say something
Oh,
about a
that's
t-shirt?
right.
Hmm.
Let me see. Let me grab it
That
here.
really,
So,
this better be good because he's like, "Oh my god, yes! I can't believe I forgot about that story."
I'm ready, dude.
Like, yeah, I'm.
did here, I have to find it real fast. Somebody else talk about, because I think we might want to segue into what we got for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'll find it real fast if one of you guys want to go ahead. Like with what you've been doing.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll go. I moved over the past. I mean, actually, the past
That's what
week.
you got for Christmas.
That's what I got. Yeah, I got to move. But But no, yeah, holidays were okay. Tab got my girlfriend got so super sick. Started out with like a cold, then into like a flu, then into a sinus infection. So that we had like our Christmas. She was super sick on Christmas, super sick on our anniversary and stuff. But so she was feeling better by the time the move came, thank God. But yeah, I moved from Pittsburgh to Philly and just got in the new place Friday and been settling in. But yeah, it's good. Lots went down. I'm trying to think even where to start. Some notable things were my car that was hit forever ago was finally in the body shop because the insurance was going to cover it, and the guys repairing my car didn't have any idea what they were doing with the Volkswagen, and multiple times broke a part that they ordered and then told me that the car wouldn't be ready for another week because they kept breaking the parts. So that was quite a saga that was getting very stressful because I got my car back one day before we drove back to Philly. And I mean, I understand Volkswagens are pretty much, they're notoriously can be overcomplicated, especially if you don't work on them. A lot of the parts, they have to special order and all that. But this was basically, they had to take my door apart to do some body work, and the door handle and the mechanism that shuts the door and does all that, they literally broke two of them. And so I was like, this was supposed to be a job that took like 4 days and it ended up getting extended for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was just stressful because it was like on top of like we had to move everything, and the guy kept calling me. He's like, "You're not gonna like this, but we broke it again." And I was like, "Oh, cool, dude." So anyway, it ended up working out. Everything worked out. Drove the U-Haul on Friday by myself with my cat Cam next to me, and haven't driven a U-Haul. It's a 20-footer. Don't usually drive vehicles that big. I'm usually driving a nice little white girl 2006 Volkswagen Jetta. So that's a bit of a change, but nothing too notable. Didn't get in any accidents, didn't kill anybody. So that's been good. So yeah, it's getting everything set up in the new place. But over the holidays, nothing to write home about. I didn't go home for the holidays because I knew I was going to be moving, so it was a little overkill. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Oh, KD, there he is. Oh,
Hello.
Oh, okay, he's back.
Up.
Are you wearing
Hello?
the shirt? Are you wearing the shirt that you wanted?
I'm not wearing the shirt. I would never wear the shirt I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
So to pick this up, yeah.
Here we go. So a couple of gifts for Christmas this year were actually just envelopes that had like pictures of what you were gonna get, because there was some last minute shopping. Not everything came on time. So one of these was I have it right here. It was a shirt. Like my parents hear me talk about, they don't watch anime or anything, but they hear me talk about it. So,
no.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure being one of those.
No.
So they're like, okay, well, he likes JoJo and he likes t-shirts. So I thought, let's get him a t-shirt. And not only did this take like a month to get here, but let me think, it was coming from Hong Kong. So
wow.
Now, any suspicion you might have about a shirt from let me think how to describe it. It's not the best quality. I'll hold it up here. Let's see. So this is the logo. Now, a couple things. One, it's not centered at all. Very down there. Also, it's quite small and quite pixelated. Let me see how close I can get it here, but it's like it is incredibly pixelated. Like you can't even tell. Like the picture that had been printed out was just a picture of the shirt, but and so you think like, oh well, it's a pixelated picture because you got it, online. It's probably not going to look like that, but no, it looks like it looks worse in real life. It's like a 240p printed out like image of it put onto a t-shirt.
It looks so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. So trying to get a refund usually doesn't go too well with out of continent returns. So hopefully that goes well.
Send it back to the sweatshop.
Oh my god! Yeah, if they want it send it back, that's going to be a nightmare.
I think it's cute though when that your parents tried to get you something that they thought you would like, but then they they clearly like what are they going to do once it comes in?
Like, what was your reaction as you were opening it? Like, could you feign your?
No, honestly, opening it up, I'll probably with that design, in let's say you took that picture, had it beautiful, actually centered, great quality. I'm probably might not wear it to work or like out in public or anything, but I definitely, I'd wear it around the house. But and like, so I was genuinely like, oh, this is awesome. This is, this would be a nice t-shirt. If only the printing press over there wasn't like, gremlins with pieces of wooden boards that they're just slamming designs on fabric and shipping them out. I don't know. But other than that, I'm also waiting on a Bob Ross t-shirt to come in, which I hope to God does not turn out like that. Oh, wait. Oh, I have one thing to show off real fast. Hold on.
It is show and tell right now. If you're just tuning into the KBMOD podcast with KBZ.
Yeah, if you're listening to the audio here, you're missing out a little bit.
Yes, you
So
are.
look at this. This I'll try to describe them, but they are some Bob Ross socks with some happy trees on them. Bob Ross talking about happy trees. It's January 8th, and they've not been taken out of the package. Just ignore that fact. But one day I'll wear them, and they'll be fabulous.
Oh,
well, I mean, you got to wait until your Bob Ross shirt comes in, then you wear the shirt with the socks.
I got to rock the ensemble.
So sounds like you've had a pretty successful Christmas, judging on what you've shown here.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good time. I think there is one. Let me think. I didn't even know this existed. I'm not gonna get up and grab it, but it's like they made a Bloodborne card game, like a Bloodborne like official kind of board game deal, and that was kind of a surprise to get. But and then also like the most notable thing would be these Sennheiser Game 1 headphones.
Very nice.
So yeah,
very,
very happy with these.
Awesome.
Not bad. Not bad. Okay. What about either of you? How did the holiday go? New Year? Anything exciting? I know we're going to talk about CES a bunch because Brad was actually there. Yeah. Not just because Brad was there, but
that's the only reason we would talk about CES. It's just Brad's personal experience.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was traveling for the holidays. Went home back to Texas for a couple weeks, and that was fun. Just got to see the family. Nothing really notable. I did a ton of nothing. I binge watched a lot of shows over the Christmas break. I finished The Sopranos, which included like the season 6 of The Sopranos is actually sort of like 2 seasons. It was like I think it was like 24 episodes or something in their 6th season. And I don't remember all the history around that, but I think they took like a break and stuff. It wasn't like 24 episodes in a row. But anyway, I finished binge watching that over Christmas. I watched, let's see. I watched Making a Murderer. Finally got around to watching that.
There you go.
That one was good. And I actually just finished watching Westworld, first season of Westworld. I've been binging on a lot of shows over the break, and just relaxing. So that's been really good.
How was Westworld?
It was pretty good. I didn't really know what the premise was until I started watching it, but I really liked the premise. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched it, but
I haven't yet, so please don't.
I think I do want to watch it. I think it's a pretty good show. It's actually a little Black Mirror-y, like the sort of some of the the premise of the show is a little bit like Black Mirror in that it's like sort of consequences of technology, and that sort of plays a central theme in the show. But unlike Black Mirror, it's actually it's not like one episode, and then everything's different the next episode. And it's not it's not quite as dark. I feel like Black Mirror is super dark. But yeah, it's a really good show. I think it's worth watching. And let's see. Other than that, I guess are we talking about what we've been gaming at all? Or do we want to?
Yeah, sure. We can. No, we can go ahead. Go right into it.
Well, did everyone go over their Christmas real life stuff?
No, because I know Brad didn't do it. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say we can do it, and then we'll.
No, I really didn't, though. I mean, all I did was really visit family and stuff. So,
wow, family doesn't count as doing anything, dude. Come on.
It snowed a lot. I mean, that's the thing. Portland shuts down when it snows. So
yeah,
that would have been awesome if I could have been. I mean, I was inside just hanging out a lot during Christmas, but if I could have been inside when it was snowing, would have made it that much better. Because in Texas, for most of the time we were there, it was like in the 70s. It literally got up to 80 degrees while we were there.
Good Lord.
This sounds amazing. Like, honestly, I'm just all I've been wanting is warmth. It's nutty. been getting so cold where I live right now. It's been getting down to like single digits. So, yeah, I'm ready for summer, spring. But yeah, I just visited family. I hung out here, played a ton of games, and I guess we could get into it now. I played, I got H1Z1 and finally started playing that.
I'm sorry you contracted that virus, dude. Praying for you.
It's actually, I don't know what it is about the game. It's a broken piece of shit, but if you get like top 10, like the adrenaline rush, like is worth it. Like I think it's just that alone is so much fun. And what else have I been playing? I got back into Rust. Been getting back into the Rust. I think that's, speaking of broken games, that's pretty broken as well. But it's just something about like the servers you're playing with and the people you're playing with. It's just I don't know what it does, but it gets me back every now and then. I just feel like I got to get back into it, and I of course, get sucked back into it. And,
I have a question about Rust real fast. Like, it's been bugging me. I couldn't remember. I remember that story about the guys that are putting up the signs, like trolling that one player, but I couldn't remember that one sign said. You remind me?
Yeah. So for those that maybe didn't listen long ago or something, what we did was there's this one guy, they had a clan. They were literally called Salt Clan, and so we would like to just like piss off the guy just for fun, and he would try and retaliate in some way and like ruin your base. And in Rust, you just build these bases and try to become like, I don't know, just try and fuck everyone else up in the server. But so this. We got hacked or something like that. So we were like, okay, what should we do for the rest of the time that, this map is live? And so we were like, you know what, let's go all out and mess with Salt Clan. So there's this guy, his name was Supa, and he, no matter what, if you said something to him, he was like, I'm gonna get all my shit and I'm gonna come straight for you and fuck you up. Like, he's just like, he thought he was the toughest dude on the server. So what we did was, for like 3 days straight in our free time, we set up signs around this map that just said the most ridiculous, just outlandish things, trying to like burn or like piss off Supa. But then like by the second and third day, like the insults were just like not even insults at this point. So it's like like the first day they were like really toxic, obscenities, but then like by the third day it was like Supa has arthritis and like Supa can't read. But like seriously, if you got to this map, it was like literally hundreds of signs we had generated. And the best part was we pointed all the signs to some poor kid's base. Like this kid had been playing with his dad for like a week or something like that. And so we tell this guy, like, Supa, you need to come to the side of the map. We have a present for you. And he comes over and he sees the signs. He leaves. He comes back with his buddies all loaded up. They follow the signs, some
God. And they destroy the kid's base, so you pointed to. I think I know. Remember what you said.
Yeah, they destroy the kid's base. We kind of felt bad, but it was glorious at the same time. And I don't know, just like those toxic moments are so great, just because you get to mess and mingle with these people. But no matter what, now I'm running into the problem where my group of friends and I just run into Koreans, and somehow we get into these like all out wars with South Koreans for some reason. So somehow doesn't matter what server, we somehow find them, set up base near them, and start these wars, and it's ridiculous. But yeah,
dude, stories like that are like my sole motivation for wanting to get into this game.
Yeah, you get it, and I have a group of friends you can play with, Katie's on. So, but yeah,
excellent.
Rust, King of the Kill. Oh, I got Rainbow Six Siege, which I saw you got as well, Scott. If I'm not mistaken.
I did.
And it's not that bad, it's okay. Like, I don't know. I put like 4 hours into it so far, and I thought it was actually okay. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Scott?
Yeah, I played a decent amount now. I mean, it's really, I think, again, like every multiplayer game, it really shines with a group. I don't know. I don't really haven't solo queued all that much in it, but I like it a lot. It's a lot different than anything else I normally play. And you really gotta like. I'm pretty much just getting destroyed on the regular because I don't know the maps really that well yet, and there's a lot of maps to learn like all the equipment and unlock all the operatives and stuff. But no, I really like it. People told me forever that I should play it, and it's really like it's hard to explain. Like it's definitely a slower game, obviously, but like once the action starts going down, whether you're attacking or defending, it really ramps up. And you can't just be running around in that game. Like you have to be pre-aiming the corners and leaning, and guns kill you so fast. I really like it. I really like it a lot. And apparently it's improved a shit ton since it first came out. I know a lot of people were saying it was pretty bad at launch, and I'm having fun with it. It's a good thing to mix up because I'm playing like a lot of Counter-Strike or like Battlefield or something else. It's a nice, like, I don't know about palate cleanser, but like a good I think like a shift if you want to play something a little bit different.
It reminds me of like a more hardcore, like amped up search and destroy from like Call of Duty,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna say I haven't played it, but it seems a little bit more in the vein of kind of America's Army, almost, where they're going for a little more realism, because that was always America's Army's thing is you would die, you could die in like 2 shots, like you would in real life.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely more realistic, and it's hard coming from games where you're used to just running around and I don't know, like people that are really good at that game are you'll die. Also like spam, all that kind of stuff. And but yeah, no, I found myself enjoying it quite a bit, a lot more than I thought I would. So, and it definitely I want to get better. Like if you get a kill or 2, you're just like, yeah, man, it's really satisfying in that game. So. I think I have like 10 or 12 hours in it, maybe a little bit more now. So quite a decent chunk. I'm still terrible. I'm awful. Like I'll have a few good rounds here and there, but then most of the time I'm just spent just like, oh god. Like one fun thing is to try to like use the different operatives. I'll like use the shield guy, and just I don't know. Certain times I'm like I really could have handled that engagement better. But there was the invitational going on actually pretty recently. I think today there was the invitationals going on, and I actually watched a little bit. After I got off stream, and it's a pretty interesting competitive game to watch too. It's definitely not as fast paced as some of the others, but again, I think it exists in a pretty cool space. I mean that franchise has been around for a long time, and I played a little bit here and there, but never seriously. And this is definitely kind of. I mean, again, you have to use the Uplay client, which is always a bit of a bummer, and I have a lot of issues with that when it comes to like it'll just randomly like not let you add people or have issues with invites and stuff. But so does Battlefield 1 somewhat too, so I can't complain too much, I guess. Yeah, but I like it overall. Sorry, long roundabout answer.
No, it's okay. Well, you've been playing anything else, or?
Yeah, I've been playing. So, oh my God, let me tell you, have I been playing anything else? I've been wanting to play The Witcher 3 for a very long time, and over the over Christmas and stuff like that, I've been putting just time in off stream on that game, not streaming it or anything like that, and I've not had more fun with a game as long as I can remember, and especially an RPG where I was like, I don't know, like how accessible is it going to be? Am I really going to enjoy like doing all the stuff? I know it's overwhelming, and I cannot stop playing The Witcher 3. It's incredible. And so I got it. That was one of the Steam sale games. Yeah. So I was able to get, I think it was $30 for everything with all the DLC. And I was like, to me, that was a no brainer. So I'm like, I don't know how many hours I am into it. Probably, I don't know, maybe like 20, 25. And I've barely scratched the surface. I know like Tomb has like 150 or something hours in that game. And other people even have more. I'm playing it not on the hardest difficulty, but one underneath. And so it's challenging. It's not too grueling, but I find myself doing a lot of the stuff that I always like got frustrated at with RPGs, where I didn't understand, like, why do people like give a shit about exploring everywhere, trying to, get all the pieces of this armor and stuff. And I'm doing all that stuff because the gameplay and like the story is so compelling. And I can't put it down. It's just an incredibly made game. And I guess it's one of those weird things where people have been telling me and hyping up The Witcher 3 to me so much. I was like, there's no way it can live up to its expectations. And this is kind of blown them all away for me. And the fact that I tried to play The Witcher 1 like years ago, and it was so clunky and inaccessible that
that's what
it
kept me from playing. Yeah,
exactly. It turned me off to the series. And this one is just, I can't stress enough. Like, even if you've played like the first one or kind of got turned off, this game is like, you can tell that they listened to the community and just made something that, like, it's, even if you're not like super into RPGs or I know we were talking about Final Fantasy previous weeks, Brad, where it's just like not really a thing. I think you probably would really enjoy this, because I'm not definitely somebody that's not really an RPG fan itself, and despite all of that, the combat, the story, all the stuff you can do, like, I'm really enjoying myself. And once you get it, like, you have to mess with it a little bit, like the crafting system in the game. Again, something I was like, only nerds talk about crafting systems. Dude, I love the crafting system in this game. It's simple, but it's like robust. I can just go on forever. And I never thought I would become one of the Witcher fanboys, but yeah, CD Projekt Red did a really great job. And yeah, I'm excited to, and it's a nice reprieve, because I'm, playing a lot of shooters and stuff. So it's just like nice to like turn my brain off and play that game. So beyond that, Rainbow Six Siege as well. But yeah, is this a game that you thought you would play at all, Brad? Witcher 3?
Witcher 3, yeah, that's the thing. It was like that, like you said, it was the older ones that kept me away from it. So, but I didn't take you to be a person that would like Witcher 3, so maybe seeing, because you and I kind of like have a little similar taste in some games.
We do in certain games, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of curious to try it out, but yeah, I think I have it even, so it's
you should so play it. Even if it's like, it can take a little bit to for me, I was just kind of pulled in right away. It can start a little bit slow, but like once you get to a certain, I would say once you get past the second map and onto the second map that you get access to, and into the Red Baron quest line. I was talking to Tim Fellow. He's a huge, obviously Tim's a huge Witcher.
Yeah, he's huge.
And he was the one that was constantly telling me, like, it's so good, it's so good. And actually, before I left, I got to talk to him about it. And anyway, I could tell he was pretty happy that I was like just gushing with him about the game. He's like, I told you, dude. I was like, I know, I don't know. I was just, it's one of those things. There's just a lot of games where people tell you like you really have to play, but after kind of playing this one, I totally get this one. This one has due hype, I guess, is what I would say. Did you ever play Witcher, Brad, or Brandon? Sorry, did you play Witcher 3?
I did. I did play some of it. I got probably like 10 hours in. Like, I gave it a weekend. But I sort of fell off of it. I enjoyed it, but it was one of those games that overwhelmed me because of the sheer amount of things you can do. And I knew that I would never have the time or attention span to actually finish it. And I think that's what made me sort of drop off, was because I couldn't see any end in sight. And I just don't have the time to play a game for that many hours. And I don't know, at some point I might go back to it. I enjoyed it, but it was a little too much for me. Like, at this point in my life, when time is a little more valuable, I like to have a tighter experience where, like 10 hours, like if I can finish a game from start to finish in 10 hours, that's great. Or even less. Like, sometimes the shorter the better, because otherwise, like, I'll find other games or it'll just lose my attention. And that's sort of what happened to me with Witcher.
I totally get that. And also, my approach to this is like, even if I just have like an hour or two to play it, I'm not looking at like as finishing it. I just enjoy it as a change of pace. So that's also just like its perspective too.
Yeah, if you can play a game like that, if you can hop in and out for an hour or so, it's a perfect game for that, because you can do it for a year, like hopping in and out until you finally finish all the content. But that's not really like how I normally play games, and so that's sort of why I fell off. Is if I'm going to play through a single player, I normally try and do it in larger chunks, and you could give it 10-hour chunks, and you would still, it would take you months to potentially finish the game.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. So, Brad, you went. I went.
Go ahead. I've actually been playing a bit. So I mean, over the past 3 weeks, I didn't really play many games over Christmas, but when I got back, we came back a little bit before New Year's, so we had New Year's here, and we had a party and stuff, and that was fun. But then I had like 3 or 4 days to just relax, and so I played quite a few games those days. I actually streamed for the first time in a very long time.
That's right.
And I was just like, I don't really have anything to do today. I'll just stream. for an hour or two, and that turned into like a 7-hour stream.
Nice.
And so I played through some more of Hitman. Still enjoying that. I tried the elusive target again, and I failed it. Failed it on stream this time, so that was even more embarrassing. But I continue to enjoy those elusive targets, and I'm looking forward to the day that I'll actually complete one of those missions. And then I've been playing some WoW, but I sort of fell off a bit because I think this is the time where people start to fall off of WoW because like everyone's sort of getting to the point where their gear is good enough that they don't really need to grind much, and unless you have time to do raiding and whatnot, it can get a little bit stale. So that's actually kind of been good for me because it has helped me like pull back from WoW without really needing to. Like I don't really have a strong desire to just log in and constantly play WoW because there's not necessarily a ton of stuff for me to do. So we've been talking about this, keeping myself honest with my WoW time, and I actually have not
That's
really
right.
played. I've not really played that much over the past couple weeks. But Blizzard, seeing that, they knew that I was going to drop off a little bit from WoW. So what did they do? They dropped a brand new Diablo season the other day that caught me by surprise. I had like forgotten or wasn't paying attention that there was a new Diablo season, and I found out yesterday. And so yesterday I stayed up until 6 a.m. playing Diablo.
Oh shit!
Wow.
There he is. There's the barn door I know. He's back.
And I gotta say, this new season, I really enjoy it because so with Diablo seasons, if you're not familiar, you start a new character, brand new everything. So like you don't get to keep anything from your current characters. You're starting over, brand new, 0 gold, no levels, no gear. But the cool thing is that the seasonal characters, like you ramp up really quickly. You can, once you get power leveled by someone, we got power leveled in like 30 minutes, thanks to Drake. And then they have, so for this season, they actually have a little quest line where you do quests and you get a set of gear. So 6 pieces of gear that's actually really good. And the quests aren't really that hard. You're doing stuff you would normally do in Diablo. So that's why I was playing so much yesterday, because I wanted to grind out for this 6-piece set, which is actually really good. Like 6 pieces of really good gear already puts your character in a pretty high bracket. And so it was pretty addictive, and I actually got my 6 pieces of gear last night. And then today, spent another few hours grinding, and in like, probably 10, 12 hours of gameplay, my character is already doing like Torment 10s. If I wanted to, which is really, really high. The highest is Torment 13. So props to Diablo for like, I feel like they have taken a game that initially a lot of people had problems with. Like if we remember the very old days of like the real money auction house and all this stuff that a lot of people really didn't like. And I think that game has had an unbelievable amount of staying power. Like when I just looked at the amount of playtime I had on my characters, not even my seasonal characters, but just my regular characters, and I just casually had something like 80 hours on my barbarian. I was just like, oh my god, I have only ever I bought Diablo 3 and I bought Reaper of Souls. So what is that? That's like, I don't know, $100 or something. And across all my different characters, I've got like a couple hundred hours in the game. I just remembered how awesome Diablo is to every now and then just hop in for like a day or two and just go wild and stay up all night and gear out a character. So that's what I did yesterday, and actually that's what I'm gonna do when we get off. I'm gonna keep grinding some Diablo. So so that was an unexpected surprise, but that was a nice one. Diablo is always fun to come back to.
Very cool. Okay. So WoW in check a little bit. We'll splurge a little bit on Diablo, but hey, we'll allow it. Unexpected season.
Yeah.
Just drops out of nowhere, out of the heavens. Did you go, Katie, about what you've been playing? I feel like we all did.
No, I haven't. I've been trying to continue to blow through a lot of my backlog, so mainly just single player stuff. But first, I've been playing more Rocket League, and there's actually a really cool feature that happened with the last update that I didn't notice at first. For the training mode, there's actually a Steam workshop now where you can download custom like training modes, and the ones that are made by Psyonix, they have like really advanced goaltending and really advanced like shot making. I don't know what the proper term is, but those are really good to practice on, and so that's like a really good resource for people to get better at certain situations. But yeah, it's a pretty good addition. But other than that, let me see. So I think I said last episode I was playing Bayonetta 1, but yeah, I beat Bayonetta 2, and holy fuck, that game is ridiculous. Like the first level of that game is I mean, I can pretty confidently say that was like one of the best first levels I've played in like any game ever. It's just pure enjoyment, fun, insanity. I highly recommend that game. But yeah, that was really cool. And so mainly I've been just trying to like beat the games that are coming up to that game Nier Automata that's coming out. So you have what is it, Platinum Games, who's making it, that made the Bayonetta games, and then it's the rest of the games in the series for that, which would be Drakengard and Nier. So I played the first Drakengard. If you don't know already, this whole series of games are games that don't really have excellent gameplay, but like really weird, different stories with good music. Yeah, Drakengard 1, it's not fun, but I just watched the cutscenes for that. That game is does some cool stuff. But then I played Nier, which I did play through all the way. That game, let me think, it's really cool. It has a lot of really good ideas, a really good soundtrack, but again, the gameplay is just what really weighs it down. It feels like a mix between maybe God of War and Kingdom Hearts, but really half as good as either of those. It just lacks a lot of polish. But yeah, so that's why I'm excited about Nier Automata. You have the interesting world and story and music, and then you have, Platinum Games, hopefully some really good gameplay. There's actually a demo that came out for it on PS4 a couple weeks ago that you can download now. That was excellent. That was really good. I think everybody should play that right now. Yeah, that was good. And then other than that, the new Kingdom Hearts is coming out, so I've been trying to finish Birth by Sleep, and that's been pretty fun. I've started it on Proud mode, which is only one notch above standard difficulty, but that actually makes you only do half damage, and every enemy like deal double damage. So every enemy is turned into a tank that can two-shot you. So it can be pretty frustrating at times, but it's still pretty fun. But yeah, and also the flashcards are no more.
No more.
What happened?
No.
Wait.
I have evolved thanks to the miracle of Google Docs. I have shape-shifted them into all sorted alphabetically by console, all on a list of 6 pages for me to manage.
I know, but like there was something so, again, I hate to say this, but
there was that charm.
The charm of like having like the different cards for the different games.
It's like getting a physical card for your birthday instead of an email greeting.
Yeah,
something special about the physical.
But I mean, I understand.
You're right.
Jumping. I understand the tech. It's. But does it feel any different? Like, is it going to be near as satisfying for you when you finish a game and all you do is either like put a strike through the text or delete the cell, or like, is that?
I can. It's not, but I can make that sacrifice because I can do things like any game I have in progress right now is bolded, and then any game that has like a sequel coming out, I put like a note next to it that says like, for example, let me see. I have like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Dark Side Chronicles. I'm probably not going to finish all those before 7 comes out, but I've got all those highlighted with a note saying Resident Evil 7 comes out January 24th. So I'll just try to play as much of those as I can. and before that comes. Although I probably don't really need to play those to get the story at all. But
so
being able to do stuff like that.
You're moving from the simple flashcard system to a full out game planner here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, really sophisticated stuff. I don't know. Yeah, that's it feels good to be in the modern age. I don't know. That sounds so old, man. I'm just lamenting it.
Yeah.
Or cementing it, I mean. But yeah, that's all I played.
Okay. All right. Well, we all looks like we got to play a variety of stuff for the last 2 weeks. I mean, me playing an RPG and gushing about it, even you can teach an old dog new tricks,
Yeah, yours really surprised me. You're not usually an RPG guy.
I'm not at all, but I'm really, really enjoying the change of pace. So speaking of changing our pace, how about we talk a little bit of CES news, which obviously happened.
Consumer Electronics Show.
That's right. That's right. And our very own reporter Trisha Takanawa, aka Brad Hutchison, was there. Obviously not for KBMOD, but I know you did get to go, Brad. How long is CES, by the way? I don't even know. Is it a week or a couple days? How long does it go on? Okay. Seems like our Asian reporter Trisha Takanawa has left the building. So
he said, "Be right back."
Oh, did he? Dang
it! I think it was like
maybe if you
last
check
week.
the beautiful chat section on our Curse client.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that. Oh, I do see it now. He did say "be right back." Wow, I really threw him under the bus right there. That's awkward. All right, don't tell him I did that.
CES was this past week. I think it was like Tuesday through Thursday, or maybe Monday through Thursday.
I think that's right.
But there's always a lot of stuff that goes on at CES, and I feel like it's always weird because there's like some of it's not even really worth talking about. Like the only reason CES is interesting a lot of times is because of all this stuff that is never going to come out. But you just talk about it, and it's like, it could happen. Yeah, it could. You see a lot of people doing concepts and things,
right?
And I feel like that's really what CES is for. Is just it's like showing off concept cars at an auto show. Like this stuff's never going to come out, but it's cool to think about it. And that's CES kind of in a nutshell. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we probably don't care about, like smart fridges. And I don't know, all sorts of smart devices that aren't really germane to gaming in any way. But there was quite a bit of gaming news.
I mean, this is a question for you, Brandon. Things that maybe you don't think are going to come out, but what would you say to a triple monitor laptop concept called Project Valerie? And basically, it has, when fully extended, takes up the entire length of an average work desk. What are your thoughts on this, man? 17.3-inch concept laptop that has 3 4K monitors in it.
Yeah, so this was a Razer thing. I feel like Razer always has at least one kind of crazy thing that comes to CES. And I mean, to their credit, I don't know that this is like the craziest, dumbest thing they've ever shown off. I'm just not sure that. I'm not sure this would ever deserve to be more than a concept because when I think about triple monitors, this is maybe this is just me and the way I use my computer, but I don't think about triple monitors for gaming. I think about triple monitors for being able to game and also see other things. Like I literally never at this stage actually game on all 3 of my monitors. But I have triple monitors at home and work, and I think it's really awesome. I think it's useful. I use a lot of that monitor space all the time, but I don't use it for gaming. So I actually think that a concept like this could be useful, but not because of like the gaming qualities, just because it's like better to have 2 or 3 screens. So I would actually really appreciate seeing a laptop concept that maybe has 2 screens. I think 3 screens is pushing it because, I mean, it's so ludicrous. Like, where are you going to be sitting with a laptop where you have the room to splay out your 3 monitors? and like the battery life would be like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was my question. What kind of battery life are we dealing with here?
The first thing I think of when I see this is streamers. Like I hear a lot about people wanting a solution for portable streaming, and of course, like if you're just gaming on one and then you have the other two for your setup, that's like the perfect, like for some people they have the money to throw at this. The other thing is too, there's no good gaming surround setups that cater for two screens. When you do two screens, you're gonna have a line right through the middle. And of course, three, you're the center of your, whereas like all your, I don't know, when it spans, it's better to have a crosshair in the middle of your second screen rather than like in a 3-monitor setup, instead of like in the separating point in your 2 monitors. So like this is kind of like an answer to all that, I think. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think this is quite as far-fetched as it maybe looks at first, because I do think that this when you think about desktop replacement laptops, I actually think this could fit the bill perfectly for someone who really does want a true desktop replacement. I just think it's like putting 3 4K displays. Like, is there a need for a 4K display? Like 3 4K displays? I mean, I guess it's a concept, but I just think about like the actual product that could come from this. Who needs 3 4K laptop displays?
I mean, yeah. And this is a concept, right? This wasn't something that's like going to be marketed by Razer right away. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's some cool. I was just like, I was talking in the pre-show about this, and I was like, just be on an airplane and I was like, oh, he's taking his laptop out, and you're in the middle seat, and just imagine you start stretching your monitors out. I mean, that thing.
I guess
that thing
for
would
me,
literally take a full.
You would have to be able to. You would have to be able to detach the side 2 monitors. If I could still use it as a regular laptop,
right?
Then maybe that would make sense. But I just feel like this. It's a cool idea that I actually could see if they could find a way to make a laptop like this not just absurdly expensive. Like let's say maybe $3,000 or $3,500, something that would be expensive but not out of the realm of possibility for like a high-end laptop. I could actually see this being useful for, like you were mentioning, Hutch, like the streamer type use case, or someone,
right?
Or like a desktop replacement for someone traveling or whatever, who even someone who's crunching spreadsheets all day. Like that's where I feel like it's really nice to have more monitors. So I could see this being useful, but yeah, it's I mean, it's Razer. I have a feeling this will probably never make it past the concept stage.
I mean, I hope it kind of does though, and then we can actually get real true test on what kind of battery life it gets from like an Ars Technica article or something.
Right.
They're like, oh yeah, well when we actually tested it, we had 45 minutes of battery life running, like Counter-Strike Global Offensive on the 3 monitors, or Battlefield. But yeah, you're right. Not maybe as outlandish as some of the stuff you see, like maybe like kind of a cool concept.
and even at CES, the thing is, like, this is actually one of the more practical things I saw come out of CES. As as kind of impractical as this seems, that's the point of CES, is a lot of stuff that's just like questioning why people even bothered making a thing. But here I can see the actual use case. I don't see there being enough interest in something like this. And even if there was, like when you say 3 4K displays, I'm like, all right, well, 3 4K laptop displays, you're literally talking about like $4,000 right there before you even add a laptop hardware in. So,
I mean, when I see this, like compared to other stuff Razer's done, like I mean, stuff like concepts. I mean, like they had that one PC that was completely modular that just had the different bricks you could slide in and out. Like that never came to. Like this, I can kind of see some practical use for it. Like I could see people who want like, this much, like this level of portable. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Put the words in my mouth for me. No,
I'll put more than words in your mouth. dude.
Oh, okay. No, but having like this much like versatility. That's it.
There
you
it
go.
is. I knew you would get there. I didn't want to help you. No lifelines.
Boom.
You got it.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't know if it's gonna make it that far.
it's probably not, but it's interesting. But they also they maybe had something else that was also pretty interesting. A projector. Hutch, do you want to talk about Project Ariana?
Yeah, so I didn't get to see it firsthand. My colleague did, but basically what it is so a lot of people still, like, let's say, game on their TV or a monitor setup or something, and let's say you want a surround setup, but you don't want the extra monitors taking up real estate or something like that. Well, I guess what you can do now is you can take this projector that Razer's possibly coming out with, and it's a 4K projector, and basically what it does is has a fisheye lens on it. You put it up on your ceiling, and it projects the rest of what's going on in your gameplay on the wall around your display. So you line it, and basically just imagine, you get your first person view on your display, but then everything around you is your surrounding. Around the display is your surrounding. So you just get this really immersive, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's basically like having just a giant wall TV thing, but a concentrated view on your display. So
I wonder what happens when, like, you have this in your house and you're watching porn and then forget that you sent it to the projector and your wife or girlfriend walks in. Probably got to be a little funny.
Well, it looks kind of like it's at least from just the screenshot I see, it looks like it's sort of projecting a backdrop, so it's not.
Exactly.
It's hard to tell, but it looks like you would still be playing at your monitor, but then like you would see the rest of the image on the outside of your monitor. So like you're in your peripheral vision, it would feel more immersive because you're seeing in your periphery on your wall sort of the rest of the image. Is that what they're kind of going for, do you think?
That's exactly. So you got it exactly right. So let's say like your field of view on your display is like only 80 degrees. Well, the rest of the field of view that you would normally get if you're wider, something is basically being projected onto the wall. It's just it's the way I saw it set up. Well, my colleague took pictures of it. They were using it for a TV. I imagine it's probably better for like a couch experience, because if it's being projected onto your display and everything else, you're going to be in that projection. I can imagine that would be annoying, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't. I could see this being. I think the article calls out here, which I think is the pertinent thing, that I think this depends entirely on your living situation. If you have a really nice like centered, you have a big screen TV or whatever, and then you have a big room where that's right in the center and you don't have many other obstructions, then this could be amazing. But like, for example, I'm sitting here in my office and I have like my desk is not in the center of this room. It's not a super big room, but it's like it's not small, but it's not massive. If I were to put this in my room, I would have nothing to my left side because I have a wall to my left. So this wouldn't it would be useless to me. And I have to imagine that's the difficulty, is that this screenshot they have here is this desk that doesn't have a chair on it. It's like right in the middle of this room. It's like sort of perfect conditions for something like this. And I feel like most people's rooms don't mimic those kinds of conditions. They might have their desk in like a corner, or they have it kind of closer to one side of the wall than the other. But I guess this is clearly a pretty high end, like unnecessary thing. But again, kind of a neat concept, I suppose.
Yeah. Again, the advertising and the photos that they're doing, of course, they always put the ideal setup. Like, I don't know anybody's room that looks exactly like that, but I guess that's marketing. Like you said, like it's so idyllic. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
like where's the Mountain Dew can to really, throw a wrench into it, or the Cheetos bag, or the person walking in front of it.
Yeah,
I would like to see how it looks like in a real, in a more real scenario. Maybe I think that's what you're kind of getting
it
at.
does seem like something that you could just, it would make your experience potentially more immersive. Like when I think about, like, let's say you're playing Battlefield, and when you can only see so much of Battlefield on your screen, but if the projector was projecting things that aren't vital to the game, but they're things that you just wouldn't normally see because your field of view isn't wide enough, then I could see that being cool from an immersion standpoint. It's just, I feel like you'd be paying a really heavy premium. Like, obviously this wouldn't be a cheap projector, and it probably wouldn't work the same in every game. Like it sort of, I think, falls down once you get into the actual logistics of the product. But it's a neat idea.
It's 4K for a projector. That's crazy. Like, I mean, like 1080p projectors are just now getting to be what I would maybe call affordable, but they're still like $700.
Yeah, still a projector is already a high-end setup.
Yeah, so there's that, and then no doubt, unless it was a VR game, I would imagine this would be a like the developers would have to build for this. And secondly, you have to put it on your fucking ceiling. So I mean, or thirdly, you have to put it on your ceiling. So I mean, there's a lot of problems with this product, but will there be a market for it? Maybe. I don't know. That's the thing about CES. A lot of these are just getting, industry professionals, like, opinions, feedback from the community, just showing this kind of stuff off for press. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot of changes are made after CES.
I will say that those two Razer concepts feel they feel very Razer to me. Like, that's, Razer, I think, is developing somewhat of a reputation for doing unconventional new things in the gaming space, and those are at least, like, kind of interesting. I don't know how, it's I guess it's more interesting than just putting out, like, another laptop or something,
Okay. Well, speaking of things that are interesting, and Brandon probably has no opinion.
I view them
on
more
either
positively
way,
than the next thing we're going to talk about. That's what I'll
or
say.
yes, or has a very strong opinion, which I think he does. Brandon, talk to me a little bit about Nvidia bringing out the GeForce Now game streaming.
GeForce Now.
Yes, talk to me about this. Talk to me about this.
Nvidia launched a new GeForce Now software, which is for game streaming, similar to the various previous game streaming services we've seen, like OnLive and like Gaikai that got bought by Sony.
Right.
So Nvidia has launched their own game streaming service, and you can access this service for the low price of $25 for 20 hours of play on a GTX 1060 in the cloud. Or if that is not a good enough bargain for you, you can instead do $25 for 10 hours of play on a GTX 1080 PC.
What?
So $25 for either 20 hours or 10 hours, depending on how high of specs you want to play on. $25. The audacity that anyone thinks this is a reasonable price is just unreal to me.
But it has cloud saves.
It is crazy. The price point is not, like, if you had come to me and was like, yeah, like, okay, $5, maybe even 10, and even then I'd probably be like, okay. I mean, it's in the cloud. It's probably, it's what about the latency issues, all that stuff? I'm probably still skeptical. 25 for 20, yeah, it's nuts. I thought those when you were talking about it before I read the article, I was like, oh, you're trolling. It's not that price point. That can't be real.
Like, I had to double take when I first saw this price point that this wasn't just, this was like the actual price they were actually sending, to people that like you can access this service and it actually costs this much. Like a GTX 1060 you can get for less than $300.
Right.
So you're going to tell me like who wants this? Like who is this for? If you're buying, let's say, a laptop, right? You buying a laptop and then you're going to pay $25 for a handful of hours to stream from the cloud a game you're playing? I just can't.
It actually sounds like now that you're describing like that, it sounds like a dare. Like some of the marketing people and idea people at Nvidia got like super drunk one night and they were like, listen to this. There's no way you're going to be able to sell. Just take this concept for a second. We'll make people, we'll price this thing out and we'll make people pay $25 for 20 hours of gameplay to play off a GTX 10. Like it doesn't even, you're right. Like who's it for? Like it seems like it doesn't make, I just.
Well,
Well,
the crazy thing is that OnLive had bad enough reception because it was a subscription service and you had to buy the games in addition. This is even worse because it's like, all right, at least if it's a subscription service, I know what I'm going to pay each month to access it at all. And so if I'm going to use it a lot, then maybe I get my money's worth, right? If I play all my games through the subscription service, then I get my money's worth. Same way as when I pay for Netflix, I don't pay for 20 hours of Netflix, right? I pay for however much I can consume. And so it's up to me to use the service to get my money's worth out of it. But this, it's like $25 for 20 hours. At that point, why don't you just let me pay per hour or something? Like, why even give buckets? You're just charging, like you're charging for the exact time I play. And I could see doing this model if it was a lot cheaper. But man, $25 for 20 hours, that is crazy.
So let me see if I'm getting this right. You're paying for hours of time to stream games that you already own to your computer. So what are you paying for here?
Well, so
you already own the game.
There's a couple things to think about. So I talked to the Nvidia, like I actually went to dinner with some Nvidia marketing people, but like so
give me the scoop.
Please do tell.
Okay. So well, first of all, so there's multiple teams in the Nvidia marketing, so there's technical marketers, but like for the graphics cards, there's marketers for the GeForce experience, et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't actually get to talk to some of the people in the GeForce experience team, but there's a couple things to think about. So first of all, for internet cafes, to be able to have everybody's libraries right then and there with their saves without having to waste bandwidth or the extra energy for like let's say they want a high-end experience, but internet cafes can't constantly update. The Nvidia GeForce Now experience will allow them to play their games and their libraries wherever they're at, doesn't matter the machine, just by like basically signing into their service and then launching the game. So there's that.
With no input lag. Did they add that at the dinner?
Well, no, but there have been some optimizations made. I don't know what that entails, but
they have to be good then.
The other thing is too, when you think about these high-end machines, not only do they not have to upgrade, their graphics cards, but just think of like what the power draws that like an AMD RX 480 has to do, or a 1080 GTX 1080 has to do, compared to just like a streaming service. Like that power is now being primarily consumed in an NVIDIA data center rather than like an internet cafe, which when you're doing like 100 machines and they're all doing this all at the same time, that's a few bucks when you think about it.
But I think that's why that's so outrageous to me, is because it is a lot cheaper for them to put all of that in a data center and have the central cooling and everything. Like it's not cheap. I'm not saying it's cheap, okay? But I'm saying at scale it is cheaper than me just running it in my house, like running my PC and paying, my electric bill for my PC.
Well, that's exactly what it is, yeah. So
but it's a lot cheaper for them to do that at scale in a data center. Right.
That's what this is. It's not. I
know, but that's why $25 for 20 hours is so ludicrously out of like. out of line
Is-
with what it actually
is it
costs to
though?
operate.
Because
100%.
just think of how many users. So like if I sign up, they now have to have my whole game collection on hand with all my game saves, and then also a 1080 on hand. Like 1080s aren't cheap, even at like the amount that they have to make them at. Now, there was a little gray area on how much they were asking, but to be honest, I still think this is probably what we're going to be looking at for a lot of consumers. Like I think consoles, for instance, like there have been talks of like PlayStation, Xbox, like just straight up like, yeah, we might not be making like a console, we might be just providing like a streaming service in the future, just because like it is that much cheaper to do so than to like produce these powerful machines that play games instead of doing it in the cloud. So I don't know. There's a lot of factors going into this, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with the pricing, but I see the benefits of it.
It sounds like it's just a virtual desktop. Like that's what it says here, that it's just a virtual desktop, and you can just load up Steam, Battle.net, whatever, and download your games. But like while you're doing that and downloading your games, you're paying $2.50 an hour if you wanna play on a 1080. I just can't see how this benefits, like how this actually benefits anyone.
Well,
like if
I see this as maybe somebody benefiting someone with a machine that can't, like let's say I'm a Mac user and I can't play half my games.
But that's the thing is, if you're a Mac, I mean, I guess if you just don't care about money, like if you just don't care about money and you have a lot of money,
user, that's clearly the case anyways. So I mean,
I don't know if you have like a MacBook Air or something. If you have a MacBook Air that you bought for
you can make
$1,000,
way better purchases for.
I'm sure. I'm just saying. Like, not everyone who buys a Mac is loaded, right? Like, college kids get Macs, and that's their only computer for 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it might not be cheap at the start, but they get it because that's going to be their only computer for a while. But like, that's the thing that I never understand, the pricing schemes of these things, because the people that they're presumably aimed at are the people with lower spec PCs already, like integrated graphics folks, laptops, Macs.
Right.
But you are like assuming that those people are just going to throw money at a service like this. When I think the only people who would throw money at a service like this are already the hardcore folks who want to get their gaming fix, they just aren't at home.
Yeah.
I think you're also overestimating that people actually save their money to buy upgrades for like their machines or anything like that. I see this as like a like somebody buys their like nephew a gift card for GeForce Now or something. It's like, or maybe lower to middle class families that can't afford a gaming PC, but their kid really wants to play on like full HD experience. I don't know, but there is a use case scenario for this, and I think everything's going to the cloud. I think this is just an early move by Nvidia, and I think pricing's of course going to drop. I don't agree with it now, but I see this as an early move by Nvidia. I mean, this was at a keynote. Like some of these things, like the AI experience for the driving isn't going to be hitting us, of course, until 2020. So I mean,
but that's why I'm surprised they even talked about price, because I feel like if they hadn't talked about price, I would be neutral on this announcement. I would just be like, okay, cool, right? OnLive did this, other services have done this, but they're sort of gone now. So Nvidia launching their own thing, okay, that could be cool. But announcing the price just sours me right off the bat, because I'll never use this, because I know the economics are so bad. When I think I don't know, maybe this is the only way they can make it work. Like maybe the prices have to be this, but it seems way too high for the benefits. Like $2.50 an hour for me to just run a VM in the cloud that happens to be able to run games. That seems steep regardless of who you are.
So I think really the problem is for you, it boils down to the pricing, right? So I think
clearly this
that's what.
Yeah, I mean, clearly this is like, this would be cool for people that don't have a PC that can run games. I just think the pricing is so ludicrously out of line with what the market will bear for that.
Right.
You know, like when I'm at home, right, and I have like a work MacBook that I do some development and stuff on. I would be absolutely down to be able to game through the cloud. You know, my parents have an okay internet connection, but am I going to pay for, like, let's say I want a game for one night for like 6 hours? You know, what's that going to cost me? I'm going to have to pay like at least $25 just a game for one night. That's it's silly.
Yeah, I think really for me as well, I think it boils down to the price. I think that's really what it comes down to.
I think
I also, yeah.
Sorry,
I also
like
want to say too,
one other thing I wanted to mention is, like, I think one of the things, like, you look at AWS and other like cloud services, you know, like Google's cloud, Microsoft's Azure cloud, and you look at the kinds of machines you can run, and you just see that they're like this many cents per hour, and you're just like, wow, that's like nothing. You know, that's nothing. I could run this website for cents every hour. I think that, like, I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's a good deal. You know, like, if I needed to run this thing, I could do that for this many cents per hour. And you look at that and you're like, man, it would take me to put that machine together myself. That'd be super expensive. Whereas I feel like that sort of, those pricing, that pricing stands in contrast to this, where it's like, this is $2.50 an hour just for me to, like, log on and play a game. I think if the pricing was a lot lower, where I wasn't thinking about every hour, I'd definitely be down.
Yeah, and I mean, also, I'm sure that, you know, they've closed some of the gaps as far as the tech goes, but how, like, is gaming in the cloud? You know, you didn't get to play any of this or mess with this stuff, Brad, but ever since, like, you know, some of the other tech we talked about, like, it wasn't exactly a great experience. Obviously, it depends on your connection and stuff, but there was always latency. I mean, you can't get around that. Again, like, I for certain games it doesn't matter as much, right? You know, but
well, you have to also remember that Nvidia knows that their consumers are probably the ones that have a little more cash in hand anyways. So
yeah,
not only are you buying the most expensive Android streaming service, but they also partnered with one of the most expensive car manufacturers for their autonomous driving, and also their graphics cards are most are more expensive than their competitors, and their monitor standards, quote unquote G-Sync, are more expensive than their competitors. They know they have a premium, they know they have a high quality service, and they know they have an audience that's going to buy into this stuff. So I mean,
okay,
yeah. So I see this as like somebody's doing this. Like, I know that we think it's ridiculous, but somebody's going to, you know, probably.
I don't know. I think the market has shown that these services have never actually panned out. OnLive being the primary example there, and I think OnLive's pricing was maybe a little worse in some ways, but friendlier in others. Like, if they had announced that it was a $25 a month subscription, I don't think I would have scoffed at that, because, like, all right, you know what? If you want to basically pay a $25 a month, you know, gaming PC as a service, you know, that's not a terrible thing, because that would be, I mean, maybe it would have to be more if they were doing that, but let's say it was $25 a month, you know, for 12 months, that's what, $300 a year to basically not own your own gaming PC.
Reasonable.
That could be a lot more reasonable.
I think a monthly subscription would make way more sense.
I think that's like, and that would allow people to look at it and say, okay, do I want to buy and maintain my own PC, or do I want to lease a PC from the cloud, right? The same way that now a lot of people don't own all their own music. They just pay for Spotify or iTunes Music or whatever, and they just pay, you know, the $10 a month to have all the new music that comes out, right? And they just build that into all their monthly expenses. I think that's what I have a problem with, is like, you're making people think about the amount of time they will spend on this service, when really I think it should be like, I want to pay a subscription because I want a game whenever I feel like it, and I know what that's going to cost me every month. I don't want to have a week off, decide I want to binge, and then all of a sudden that cost me a couple $100.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
It'd be really gross is if like you were with this ISP and then you had to pay more than like 500 gigs of data you used, and then you did this as well. Wouldn't that be gross, Scott?
Yes, that would be gross. That would be crazy and disgusting.
I think the argument for a Mac user for this is pretty good, though. Like games
Or
that will be able to
Linux.
play.
No.
Yeah. Well, does it say you could use Linux in the article? Or
you can use anything. You can use a toaster if it has a screen on it.
well, it
much,
says
yeah.
any PC or Mac in the article. So
Well, they may have some. They may have just an app that. They may have a program that you can launch on Mac or Windows. They might not have a Linux client, so maybe not. But I would.
So
guess,
I could use my Razer toaster.
I would guess that they probably would release a Linux client. Like one of the major benefits of this service is offering gaming on platforms that are not Windows. So
yeah,
I think it's a great idea, actually. Like I think that the idea and the demand is definitely there for a service like this. It's just that demand has been there for a long time, but the pricing hasn't been right.
I agree.
Or the conditions haven't been right. Like the latency was always really bad. If they can solve all of those pieces, then I think the price is the only thing that will stop people from using a service like this. And
that's what'll, like, you compared it to Spotify earlier, but like I think the difference there, like what you're talking about, is like Spotify, it just plays the music and you don't have to worry about like the condition of it. Like there's obviously, if you have bad internet, then you just do not get full use of the service. Like Spotify, you don't need really impressive internet to use that. Like this one, if you're just streaming that, and they claim no latency, but I mean, if they can figure that out, then that would put it on the same level. But yeah,
what I meant for Spotify is just like you get everything for one price. That's what I meant. Is you pay $10 a month and you have access to Spotify's entire catalog, whether you listen to thousands of songs a month or whether you listen to like 2 or 3 albums. You still pay the same $10 a month, and I think that makes a service like this more palatable for people, is knowing how much it will cost them every month, and then doing the math about, okay, do I want to build my own PC, or do I not game enough to bother building my own PC, and I'll actually just pay for the service.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't think anyone will do that math and come out in favor of this service with these prices. So I would actually love to be wrong, because I think the service is cool. I think it's a good idea. I just think people will be scared away at the price because those prices seem crazy high to me. If they were if they were even half the price, that would actually still feel like a little high to me. I think we need to be talking. Like I made the comparison with AWS. You look at those prices and you're like, I could get this PC in the cloud for like this many cents per hour. I think you have to literally be talking like in some number of cents every hour so that people wouldn't think about it, or you make it an all-you-can-eat subscription. But I guess we'll find out. That service launches scheduled for a March launch here in the US. So if you are interested in signing up, I'm sure you can probably Google for it. There's a sign-up page for early access.
They're gonna have a free trial too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll probably give it a try during the free trial and just at least see how it works. But I can't imagine actually paying for this at these prices. I guess we'll see how it goes. You can let us know on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming how you feel about the Nvidia GeForce Now service. Anyway, let's move on. More gaming kind of CES type news. I guess KB Lake had a showing at CES. I guess they launched the rest of their processors. I saw reviews and everything go live. So,
Right.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about this, Hutch?
Well, I haven't familiarized myself with the rest of the product line, but basically, we actually
no
haven't covered
movement on the desktop space.
Yeah, people are a little upset because as far as like the i7s go, there really wasn't much to be said there. I mean, out of the box, you're getting higher higher frequencies. And I mean, at least at work for us, we were able to out of the box get ours just by changing the frequency. We were able to overclock ours to 4.8 gigahertz. And a lot of the reviewers I saw with messing with the voltages and everything else was able to get theirs to 5.1 gigahertz, which is respectable, but like still, it's not a crazy improvement from the last generation. I think what else you're seeing here is, if I recall correctly, the dual core i3 that's hyper-threaded is now overclockable, if I heard right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar to that
but
Pentium chip that they launched that that was really cheap but overclocked really well. Seems like the same kind of play.
Yeah, but not much news here. I don't see it in the dock, but I actually got hands-on experience playing Doom at 4K on ultra settings with a AMD Ryzen CPU and a Vega GPU, and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, do you want to talk about
4K.
that a bit? I forgot to put that in the doc, but the AMD stuff.
So,
AMD had some announcements as well.
Yeah, so AMD basically at CES was showing us that we're basically catching up here, and by doing so, I think this is going to be lighting a fire under Intel's and Nvidia's ass here, because the experience, at least playing Doom at 4K at ultra settings, was pleasant. I will say that, because it was it was always over 60 FPS, but I mean, when I was playing, I was getting like somewhere between 70 to 90 FPS playing Doom, and it was great. And AMD is also going to be supporting HDR, of course. Their new motherboards are going to be having,
AMD's booth at CES.
all new features. You're going to get your M2 SSDs. You're going to be getting all the chips are overclockable. That's the thing that I think they were really banking on there. You're not going to be having like locked processors. The only thing that you're going to maybe run into problems with is they're extremely small boards with like limited power phases on them. But that's just to keep the cost down and things like that. Otherwise, you're going to be able to overclock every CPU, from what I understand.
Used to be AMD's cornerstone is their chips were always really overclockable, back in the day.
And they're going back to that by the sounds of it. So, but yeah, the AMD is really stepping up their game. I was impressed. I didn't get to see that it was an AMD GPU in there, for all I know, but I did check the settings and everything. It was 4K. It was ultra settings. Definitely sounded like an AMD card because it was a jet engine back there, by the sounds of it. So that kind of had me going like, okay, this probably is an AMD GPU. But yeah, I'm impressed. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. I think they told me AMD's Ryzen CPUs are going to be launching sometime this next quarter, but like in this quarter. But the funny part was they straight up told me, yeah, we don't know what the price is though. And we want to ask people, what do you think the price should be? But like, I just find it funny that they have no idea where to even place this thing.
Ask people what the price should be.
Yeah, it was interesting. No details on Vega though. They were very strict about that.
They'd asked me, I would have said free. Just might as well start at the base and see if we can.
You gotta seed the cards out.
Yeah, exactly.
Seed the processors out.
This reminds me. I had an appointment. Well, I didn't have an appointment, but I basically invited myself to meet with Sennheiser, and Sennheiser, one of their new products was these earbuds. And these earbuds, what made them special was it had a microphone, but it wasn't where the headphones connected. But the microphones were actually in the earbuds themselves. Okay, so the trippy part was they're stereo microphones. So like in your left ear, you're getting the left channel, and in your right ear, you're getting the right channel. So it's like I asked like, how does this sound for calls? It's like, well, it's not really intended for calls. So I was like, okay. What it's intended for is for people recording with their phones. So like people vlogging and stuff like that. And so I did this booth setup where basically they had you record. They go take you into this sound dampened like room where they project a bunch of music at you and stuff and record with his phone, and they take it out and listen to it afterwards. Sounded decent, and I think it's a good thing for vloggers. But in the process, I was listening to it, and their marketing manager invited their COO over, and he was talking to me, and he asked, so for this kind of product, how much do you think this should be? Or where do you think this stands? And I was like, I don't know. These are earbuds to me. So I'm like, and I'm not, I don't know. I just put like $100 out there, and he laughed. He laughed at me.
Dang, dude.
And
Wow.
he's like,
Savage.
oh no,
Or
we are
Sennheiser.
that's exactly. He's like, oh no, we are still Sennheiser.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so those are going for the $200.
Oh, wow.
I don't know when, but they were pretty comfy though, I will admit. It sounded good, but it was that just reminded me when we were talking about price there. It's like, oh yeah, I had that encounter. But
what if you could use those for, say you're recording something in like VR? If you could do if you want like the closest sounding audio to like what it is to standing right there, like soundstage like accuracy, I guess.
Yeah, so besides I forget what they're called, but the without spending like $1,000 like setup, that's probably as close as it's gonna get to actually like, what your perspective is like, when recording. So
yeah,
I'm curious how I'm curious why it didn't have like phone functionality too, because like they had a controller like where the two headphones met, in the line. So it's like, why didn't you guys just include something for making calls as well? But I don't know. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go off track there. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny with Sennheiser. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Oh no, we're Sennheiser. Don't forget.
No. Yeah,
we are still Sennheiser. You're a little child, like, oh, you have so much to learn.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was kind of funny because a lot of these people, I'm just gonna go off on my CES tangent right now, if that's okay. But for those listening, I went to CES for this last week, and I think if you are interested in gadgets at all, or you're a streamer or anything like that, you should make an effort to go. I unfortunately only got to spend about part of a day on the show floor because I was stuck in appointments the whole rest of the week. It was nutty. But I think on the show floor alone, like you get to see all the products that are coming out. But if you're ever involved with like some of these companies, like if you're interested in being sponsored or you're going to do a YouTube channel on hardware or something, this is the place to go, I think, just for like networking alone, because like they bring out like so many people from their teams for this. Like it's not just event managers like at like PAX or something that I would run into. It is like they're bringing out their engineers, they're bringing out their buyers, they're bringing out their technical marketing managers, they're bringing out their COs, their CEOs, they're bringing out everyone, and this is like the perfect place to like network.
What about like actual gear? Are they bringing goodies to just give away too?
Some press that, or well, not press, but some people do get swag. So like I just talked to this one guy, and he noticed that I was press or whatever, and he just gave me like one of these like handheld drones. And I went to Tesoro, and they gave me like headphones or something. It's just like so you do walk away with swag, but you have to be somehow affiliated with the industry to get in.
Sure.
But yeah, for that alone, I think it's worth it. I think it's also, I think you can see that as well if you're a partner Twitch streamer. This is a big place to do it, like meet with people and talk about business and stuff like that, because it's crazy. I didn't even know this was really happening, but I ran into a couple Twitch partners, and they had like managers or agents, like seriously, like managing for them, and I had no idea this was going on. But like, somebody I met with, one of the suites, they had basically somebody that manages for like multiple streamers, and there's like, yeah, if you want to do something with them, email me. And it was like, I didn't realize that was happening in this scenario. Like, that's so nuts to me. Like, I didn't realize that we're at this level of Twitch streamers, you know, with partners that like now people are having agents and stuff like that, and this is how we're doing.
Yeah, I actually sent 4
it's-
agents myself because I couldn't make it this year. I was kind of busy with the move and everything else, but yeah, they were saying that there were some good tech there. So I'm hoping they actually get back to me.
I wonder what Tyler One's agent is like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a Riot employee that just has to unban all his accounts.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's circle back real quick and get through the rest of our CES stuff. I just want to say the AMD stuff does sound hopefully promising, because I think that like the new Intel processors don't really have anything exciting going for the desktop. Like, I mean, I can't say whether it's Intel, you know, just going at a slower pace because there's fewer gains to get as their technology gets better, or if it's them resting on their laurels because they pretty much dominate the x86 market. Either way, it kind of sucks that these new processors, at least at the high end, don't really have much of a performance gain compared to what we're used to. It does look like their laptop parts are getting quite a bit better. Like they have quad core GPUs or quad core CPUs that have much better integrated graphics. So that's kind of exciting, but not really for gaming, like just for laptops and power efficiency.
Well, do you remember too that I believe Intel just contracted out AMD for their integrated graphics here recently. So I think we're not going to see that anytime soon, but I think like that's kind of a sign of the times right now over at Intel. But
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I do think it was really weird seeing that title. It was like it was hell froze over or something. But yeah, if I recall correctly, Intel is working with AMD for their integrated graphics in like the next few generations or something like that. So
I haven't seen that, but even so, their laptop chips are getting a bit better. But on the desktop, there's really like no reason to upgrade. This will basically just be the baseline. If you're building a new PC, you may want to use these new chips, but not a compelling reason to upgrade if you already have something from Intel's last couple generations. And I think AMD does have the chance to catch up. Like Intel is not making the crazy gains that they've made in years past. So I hope that AMD can offer some competition, because it looks like Intel needs it at this stage. Let's see. Let's move ahead. The HTC Vive going wireless. You want to talk about that, Hutch?
I actually didn't get to play with this on hands-on, but from what I understand, it's some new accessories, basically making it. I think there's a new strap as well. But basically giving the people the ability to go wireless for, I think, video. And then, what else is there? And then, I'm sorry, I still need to catch up on all this.
Well, anyway, it looks like the Vive is going to have some wireless capability, and it's going to be quote unquote open standard. So right. I don't know exactly what that means, but that I guess that buzzword is better than closed standard. But it looks like battery life not very great, like an hour and a half is what this article says. So I guess we're probably ways from having like a actually good good wireless VR with like good battery and everything. I guess we can't hope for everything at once.
Well, it's funny that this is brought up too, because when I was over at the Zotac suite, they actually seems like everybody's coming out with these backpacks that are basically computers to carry around for VR. So then you don't have to trip over wires, but it's just
we
on your
talked all about
shoulders now.
those.
We did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I saw it firsthand, and it's pretty interesting. They're getting pretty polished, swappable batteries and stuff like that. So like if you have 2 batteries in there or something, you can,
just if you just have to finger your virtual waifu on the train, you can put on one of those.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm just going to the dark place, but that's what I just imagined. It's like some dude doing some weird with his fucking
That's
VR
all
backpack.
Scott could think about once he started talking about the
Not-
backpack PCs.
That's not all, but anyway. I'm sure it was cool. I don't mean to demean it. I just, lots.
Just trying
more
to see its
options.
full potential.
Yeah, trying to see it to its full potential, I think. So
Let me correct myself here. I'm reading the AMD licensing was a rumor, according to Forbes. So sorry for AMD licensing out their integrated graphics to Intel. So, sorry about that. Yeah, you still look like a dork though. That's a problem. There's no matter what you do with these, you just look like a
but I guess you just probably have to accept that with any kind of.
I think we're just going to have to accept that as like a thing that happens in the future with all of these different just wearables, like wearables and selfies and people streaming and people taking pictures. Like everyone's just going to look dumb in public at a certain point.
Right.
Oh,
So I'm not going to look any dumber for wearing my backpack PC than the person wearing Snapchat spectacles,
I guess. I guess.
Anyway, let's move over.
You
let's
look
move
like a
forward
real
to
dork with that blue Yeti.
move forward to our last CES topic. I skipped over an HP laptop. HP talked about a laptop that added battery life. They made it thicker. Cool.
Well, I just wanted to talk about this for just a second. I'm just glad
well, then
this
let's
is
talk about it, Hutch.
I'm just glad this is happening because everybody's on the race to make everything thinner. And now somebody finally recognizes that, hey, we're thin enough and we just want more battery life.
Maybe we just want to be thick though. Maybe why can't laptops be thick again, dude? THICC.
Have you looked? Okay, and now we can talk about the next laptop if you want thick. You just
Yes.
get ready,
Good segue.
prepare yourself.
So Acer talked about this. I don't even know where to begin with this thing.
Okay.
Thick.
The Predator 21X. Tell me about it, Hutch.
Okay, have you wanted a mechanical keyboard, a detachable mouse pad, a curved display?
Yes.
All, let's say in or maybe a 1080 graphics card, an SLI, an i7.
How did you know?
64 gigs.
Jesus.
NVMe SSDs. Well, guess what? For $9,000, you can get the Predator 21X.
Oh my god, this is CES in a single video. Right
Yeah,
here.
this is a true CES.
God.
So first of all, let's talk about the fact that it's 18 pounds. So
we were talking about desktop replacements earlier, man. That is a desktop replacement.
Good.
Just attach the included solar panel to power the machine. Yeah.
Well, I love this Verge. Of course, this Verge writer has a MacBook, but this Verge writer has a MacBook on top of his 21X, and it's just dwarfed in this picture here. But it is for sure fully sized mechanical keyboard, detachable mouse pad.
And I think, is it called 21X because it's a 21-inch screen?
I imagine that
Because
there's
that looks big, judging by this picture.
Yeah, the 12-inch MacBook fits neatly inside.
Yes, a 21-inch 2560 by 1080 IPS display.
Yeah, that basically is a desktop. Like that's a small little desktop.
Well, I mean, if you're doing carry-on or something, this is half one of your bags or something. Like this is fucking ridiculous. Who's this for? I don't know, the same dude that's buying Nvidia now or GeForce Now or whatever.
I mean, he really doesn't need that if he's carrying this thing around, though. But yeah,
Well,
right.
no, he does when the battery life on this thing
That's
dies.
true.
It goes to his MacBook, so
he has to go to his Mac. His
Yeah,
12
you gotta have the GeForce Now subscription because the battery life on this thing is like 30 minutes.
Oh my god!
just even looking at the pictures, like it's bigger than this guy's torso.
Yeah,
like it's.
I am actually
It's-
kind of curious who this is for because I feel like a 17-inch laptop is already pretty hefty. Like a 21-inch laptop won't even fit in most bags. Like a lot of bags, pretty much all bags will fit like a 15-inch laptop. Some of them you have to make sure they'll actually fit a 17-inch, but a 21-inch, like that will not fit generally in a standard backpack or carrying case. I mean, that is a monstrosity.
You're just gonna need like a military backpack or some
Yeah,
shit.
Bozzy just said, I don't think this laptop is going to be TSA approved. And I was just thinking, like, trying to bring that thing through the.
Yeah, will it
like,
fit?
Put it on the belt.
bin?
Like,
Will it even fit in the bin?
No, I don't think
I
it
think
will.
so. There's no way.
Sir, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like it's
The
a $9,000 laptop.
keyboard?
Sir, step aside.
Yeah, and you bought this, and you spent how much money?
Wait a
According
second.
to
Hold on.
My favorite part of this article is the update, which said an earlier version of the article said the Predator 21X would be made to order. Acer has since clarified that it decided against that release strategy, so the laptop will only ship in one configuration starting next month. So if you thought you needed a little less RAM, maybe you just need 32, that's too bad. You get to buy the $9,000 version or no version at all.
Oh god.
That's wild.
Sometimes that's influenced probably from the manufacturing process, like something might have happened.
Oh, I don't
but-
doubt it. I'm just pointing out the absurdity that like if you thought that one part of this was cool and you thought, you know what, maybe can I spec out like a $5,000 version of this? The answer is apparently no.
Yeah.
Well, that is CES for you. $9,000 laptops and smart fridges.
I just paused it when he's sitting on his lap and he looks like a fucking midget because it's so big.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I thought it was like a child holding it at first.
Yeah, it looks like it's so fucking insane. God.
Does it come with a printer?
Yeah, it should have a printer built in for that size. A 3D printer also built into it. You can just print whatever you want.
Oh, I guarantee CES next.
Yeah.
See like a flight stick built into your laptop.
Oh.
That's gonna be the evolution. Is just like peripherals built into laptops.
Yeah, I think so. It's the future. Something that combines VR, like sim, obviously power, portability, a gaming chair too. We were talking about this in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have where you actually get a pump that inflates like parts of your setup, so it's like a gaming chair inflates, but it's all connected to the laptop. It's just an all-in-one.
It's just
that-
the gaming chair is
that would be
actually
the
on
next
the
level.
bottom of your laptop, and it's like an air mattress. Like you fold it up under your laptop, and it's actually the carrying case.
Ooh, there you go. Now you're
That'd be good.
Be right back. I got to patent that one.
What are you doing, dude? What are you doing with that pump? Oh, I'm just getting ready to play some games, dude. Your chair's like in the airport, so you can have your mobile command center. And you pop out your 3 fucking screens like the Razer concept.
Yeah,
It's fucking 21 inches.
You gotta have an
Oh my
inflatable
God.
chair because otherwise you have nowhere to put your 3 monitors.
Exactly. Does it come with a table to like you'd have to? Oh man,
I remember
someone
there
needs
was,
to
like,
combine like a super. The next one needs to be all of these different ones that they're trying to do. Oh, the backpack too. We didn't even think about the VR backpack kind of concept.
Oh yeah.
You could add that to it. There's just.
I
So
remember
many.
there was some kind of ride at like Dave and Buster's where he sat at like this giant plastic ball in this chair that like rotated like 360 degrees, and they had the screen in front of you. If we can get that in a laptop, That would be the next step, people.
God.
So
Well.
like Bubble Boy meets VR.
Yes. Yes. Think of the marketing. It's like old-timey footage of that kid, but it's like photoshopped. I have him inside, like he's got a VR headset on.
It's
Hmm.
it's insane, but
Well,
you know, I don't think we're far off. We're getting there.
so
We're
that
close.
was CES. I
There
mean,
you
that was
go.
like part of CES. We literally we went for like an hour talking about just a few gaming related items, but there's a lot more stuff at CES. If you wanna learn about things that aren't gaming, it's pretty easy to find out. Just go to like any news site, and they were probably talking about it all last week. But we have a few quick hits. First one, I'm not sure who added this one, but the Nintendo Switch is expected to sell for less than $250 in Japan. That's the rumor from a Japanese newspaper.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
These guys have been, I just added it because these guys have been pretty accurate about all prior Nintendo releases. So, yeah, I think that's pretty
It's a
interesting.
good price.
Well,
I think I would buy that.
I feel like that's where they won a lot of people over back in the Wii days. Is the Wii was always pretty cheap compared to the other consoles, and so even
Mhm.
if you didn't know what you were going to do with it aside from Wii Sports, it still wasn't that crazy expensive. You know, because it would go on sale for like $200 or less. So seems like probably a smart move. But also maybe the thing that worries me a bit. Well, it doesn't worry me because I'm probably not going to buy it regardless. But it worries the the hypothetical me about the power of the hardware that'll be in it. If they're going to sell it for less than 250 right off the start, that tells me that they're not going to look to compete toe to toe with like the PS4 Pro and the new Xbox, which I feel like has always been that's been Nintendo's strategy, is to sort of release something underpowered that has a different play style or a different gimmick. But I'm not sure if people are going to want to buy that anymore.
Well, you have to remember too that we can assume that this is just going to be the Nvidia Shield just rehoused into something else, and the current Nvidia Shield is like $200. So I mean,
Yeah,
something to think about. So I think with the controller on top of that, I don't think $250 is too far out there. But.
No, but I think it does. I mean, if you were hoping that the Nintendo Switch would be, Nintendo trying to compete on the graphic fidelity and stuff with the PS4 and Xbox, like this, I mean, assuming this rumor has credence, it doesn't sound like that'll be the case, which isn't necessarily surprising, but it is, I think, is a little surprising given that the other two companies, Microsoft and Sony, are going pretty hard in the other direction. Like, given they just both, have been talking nonstop about a more powerful version of their previous consoles, I think Nintendo is just, there's a potential that Nintendo gets left behind that much faster because there's the PS4 Pro and the Xbox. I forget what the Xbox one is called.
Scorpio.
The Scorpio. But in like a couple years, there's probably going to be a new version of those that's even more powerful. And like, is Nintendo going to upgrade their hardware on that same schedule? Historically they haven't. So I don't know. It feels like they're starting a little bit behind the eight ball.
Yeah, Nintendo's at this like weird cycle right now where they just don't they kind of offset themselves with the Wii U, and now I don't see how they can get back. I mean, I guess we'll find out more because this Friday they're doing that stream on the 13th that is so this is supposed to be the tell-all for the system, so we'll learn about the price and hopefully some more specs, some launch titles, hopefully a release date for the new Zelda. But fortunately, that's on Friday the 13th, which means $500 launch price. Bad news.
Well, anyway,
what a shame.
We'll be getting I guess official news coming pretty soon. So yeah, expect that on the 13th. Let's see. Next quick hit. I thought this one was pretty cool and a little bit unexpected, at least for me. Just Cause 3 multiplayer has released. So the Just Cause 3 multiplayer mod came out, but it's actually a different group of developers because if you recall, a while back, the previous Just Cause 3 multiplayer mod was put on hold indefinitely, or I mean, basically canceled because at least one of their people, or maybe more, but one of their guys, like one of their main guys, went to work at Avalanche, the company that makes Just Cause. So he actually went to work on the game officially, and they stopped working on the mod. But then I didn't realize that this other group of modders were actually working on a Just Cause 3 multiplayer mod, and then they launched apparently a stable version just a couple days ago. So let's see. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm planning to. The website is just-cause.mp, and I'm surprised they're not naming it anything different, because like they're just calling it Just Cause 3 multiplayer, which is what the last one was called. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's a different group of people. But anyway, that's exciting to me because I don't know who all here has played Just Cause 2 multiplayer, but that was some of the most fun I've ever had. Like just some of the most stupid fun. And Just Cause 3 is just is so much more graphically pleasing and all that. I really hope that Just Cause 3 multiplayer is as good as Just Cause 2 was. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, you can check that out and download it. It's a first version. I'm imagining it's probably pretty rough, but I don't know. So give it a try. Maybe we'll do a community night or something at some point with Just Cause 3 multiplayer. Next up, I added this real quick because I figure we'd probably have some Mass Effect fans in the building. Mass Effect Andromeda got some new screenshots and apparently an official release date, which I don't remember what they had said about the release before, but I think it was sort of it was supposed to launch in 2016 and then got pushed back. Anyway, it apparently now has an official release date of March 21st in the US and March 23rd in Europe. And there are some new screenshots which are Mass Effect.
Well, there's footage too. So that was one of the Nvidia. It was in the Nvidia keynote. Okay. So yeah, so they're showing off basically what Nvidia has been helping with. So they're talking about like what it's doing with games, what it's doing with research, what it's doing with cars, and one of the things with games was we got to see basically a new gameplay trailer for Mass Effect. So,
well, if you like Mass Effect, like I said, that's coming out in March. Check out that trailer by Googling for it. And last up, here in the quick hits, Steam passed 14 million concurrent users for the first time ever, which is, I guess is not necessarily surprising because we've talked about how PC gaming is growing and all that, and Steam continues to grow. But it is good to see that like Steam just keeps getting bigger, and that's even in the face of kind of more services than ever that aren't Steam that have games on them. Like Scott was talking about Uplay. There's Battle.net, there's Origin, there's I don't even know. There's like the GOG client. There's multiple places to get games that are off Steam now. But Steam's numbers keep growing, so that tells me that probably other platforms are also growing. Maybe not at the same rate, but yeah, PC gaming's doing pretty well. I imagine I don't think this is going to slow down. Like, I can speak for as one person. Like, I have Steam open all the time. I don't even play games all the time, but Steam is one of those things that I just always have in the background. So I'm guessing there's a lot of people that are probably that same way.
Yeah, I just would also like to point out that obviously highest concurrent players here was Dota today when this happened with 951,000, and then followed closely behind by Counter-Strike with 675,000, 195 active players. And you'd think, man, Valve, that's pretty crazy. Counter-Strike still gets a lot of traction. Would you like to support the game? No. Nah, no one really cares.
I see where you're going with that.
One operation last year. Yeah, who gives a fuck? But we have sprays that you can buy. If anybody.
It'd be cool.
Sorry, I'm playing Counter-Strike again, so now I've rebittered myself against Valve and all the fucking stupid things they do. So dumb.
You know what'd be really cool is if like Steam got together with their fans and threw this really huge, like large pool event for like the Counter-Strike community.
It could be
like,
called the international. I don't know. I'm getting something. some words coming to my mouth. Something about like maybe it could be international. It could be like teams from all different countries could come and compete at it or something. It could be like sourced by the community, like you were saying, Brad. That would be a great idea. That'd be crazy if that could happen. We can dream. We can dream.
You know what's crazy to me is that Grand Theft Auto peaks at over 100,000 players.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That is wild to me.
That's
because like, and that's just on PC. Like that's the crazy thing to me is I can't imagine.
Well, if you guys haven't been staying up to date, they've been releasing new multiplayer DLC like every month. I feel like
they've been doing a lot of DLC. I'm just surprised. Like I would not have guessed at this stage in Grand Theft Auto's life cycle that they would be hitting 6-digit player counts every day, just on PC. That's pretty nuts. All right. Well, now we head into the new releases, which are pretty sparse this week. But as I mentioned to Katie before the cast, they better be good if we only have 2.
Hey, sparseness never stops Katie from finding gems, and I know these will be fantastic.
You know, I really tried. I searched. There was a lot of hot garbage this week. I always feel like the beginning of the year is really not a good time for game releases, but nothing like AAA either for the PC side. But just a couple indie games that looked pretty neat this week. The first one is called Power Hover. It's kind of a simplistic endless runner kind of. Well, I wouldn't say it's an endless runner. You're like basically going through levels. It's very simple game. You're like dodging obstacles on a hoverboard, going through linear levels with some pretty snazzy music, and it's got kind of a simplistic, like low poly art style, which looks pretty pleasing. Going by the trailer, there's some good stuff going on there, but yeah, I mean, and I like the idea that it's got some story to it. Also, it says that it's got 35 levels, but it also has like some story and like cutscenes put into it, which I feel like is completely unnecessary. But you don't really see that often with games like this. So this is, listen, take a look at everything that's coming out in the next week. This is cream of the crop. Okay, so yeah, Power Hover.
If you've got to buy one game releasing this week, it's gonna be Power Hover.
Yes. Well, Power Hover, it's actually second place. Well, actually, yeah, it comes out on January 10th. No word on a price yet. But it comes second place to this next game called Rise and Shine, which is kind of a 2D shoot 'em up, action-packed, high-octane kind of deal, where every level is one flowing hand-drawn art piece that you walk through. There are like no cuts or anything. It looks beautiful. It's gotten a lot of praise from people like Destructoid, KG Inafune, who was one of the creators for Mega Man. Said it was fantastic. I mean, after he made Might and Never 9, I don't know how much you want.
Say, what's his pedigree anymore after he made that?
After that, yeah. But take a look at the trailer for this one. This comes out on January 13th. Nowhere on a price yet, but it looks really cool. It looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
Kind of fun. But yeah. Take a look out for both.
It looks almost like you're kind of traversing through a comic book almost.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got that vibe too. Yeah, it looks promising.
Okay.
See, is this it's from Super Mega Team is the name of it. It's their debut game, so pretty promising start.
That's available on January 13th. Doesn't look like there's a price yet, but
no. Short and
No?
sweet though this week. Is this the least amount of games we've ever had in new release?
This
Well,
might
not
be
ever.
the shortest one.
It might be though. It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Two-
feel like
two
it's
games.
there's that lull that starts in December and then it sort of lingers
Yeah.
into early January because still no one's releasing anything yet. So I think it starts to kick up, in a week or two. People start releasing stuff.
Yeah, literally the only other notable game is this game Criminal Girls that's come under a lot of slack for torturing girls in hentai scenes, so we don't need that on the KBMOD podcast.
No.
We don't have to.
Not KBMOD recommended.
Not on the podcast. Those are the after hours shows where we play games together.
Exactly, yeah.
Just kidding. We don't do that.
No. But yeah, fewer questions.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take it away. No.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it away. No, you had a short section. No, go ahead. You deserve it.
This first question comes from Brian via email. It says, if humanity had a limited amount of words they could verbally speak allotted to them every day, let's say 100 words a day, how would your profession and personal life change, and would humanity be able to adapt to this change? An additional rule is any unspoken words carry over to the next day, and you can sell and buy word points. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious about this additional rule.
You're adding currency to this?
So words are currencies? What he's saying?
If you're saying that humanity only gets 100 words a day,
how
can I sell and buy word points when all of humanity, I'm not sure I follow.
Maybe he's saying, is that just spoken? Yeah, he said verbally speak. So I guess you could write. You could write the words, right? You could say hey, I'll trade you.
Yes.
I'm assuming you could write that down. There would be a way to make that transaction happen.
Okay.
You can here. I'll trade you my 4 fucks for 1 intercourse. I don't know. Who knows what kind of words?
Well, you just said the word fucks if you're trading it, so you can't really sell it.
I think I misunderstood. Maybe I was thinking 100 distinct actual words. So there are 100 words that you pick from, and there is no limit to how much you can speak, but you can only speak within those 100 words. But
so you can say those 100 words more than once.
Yeah, maybe the intent here is you still have your full vocabulary, but you only can say 100 words in a day.
I think so.
Okay.
Verbally say that.
Verbally, again. He does mention verbally.
So professionally, it wouldn't change much for me because I
was gonna say I would basically just we would just. I feel like this is an easier one to answer. We would just move to using the digital formats more than we do now.
Yeah.
Instead of having a podcast, we would sit in IRC and hang out.
Yeah,
for some of us, this wouldn't change. Wouldn't change much at all, like you said at work. If you're already
I would be fucked.
There would probably be a lot more work put into website comment sections and things like that, because no one would want to waste their words on yelling at their significant other about things they hate. They would instead divulge their full hatred to the internet.
No. See, I think the attention on comment sections would actually be taken away because people didn't want to hear them bitching on comment forums. Let's say your company, you're Amazon, and you have a phone service and a comment service or something. Maybe, I don't know. I just picked Amazon. Maybe I want people to only complain to me and use those 100 words instead of writing something.
I see.
Yes.
So it would be if someone calls in, they really care about the issue.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
interesting.
It's almost like taking your words for hostage.
I think basically, actually, I think pretty much all traditional brick and mortar retail would die overnight.
Oh yeah, I would. I mean, I work at video game retail, and I try to, the customer, I try to engage with them, ask them how they're doing. I just have to just go to hi. That's my go-to for everybody. And just the amount of explanations you have to give people, you would be so surprised people who I bought a Wii and Mario, and I just can't get it to start. Like, I put in the game and nothing happens. I'm like, okay, bring the system back. We'll look at it. He doesn't have a sensor bar, and he just is like staring at his TV, and like, so explaining things like that, just I would crumble at my job.
Oh, there's a good point in chat. There's a good point in
Yeah.
chat. Would sign language bypass the idea? Like that actually might be what happens. Is everyone learns sign language.
I do like the idea that this would make, you know, the use of language really important and occurrent. That's a cool. I don't know if this concept's stolen from somewhere else or like, I don't know if there's like.
I don't think anyone would sell or buy. I don't think anyone would sell or buy word points, because 100 words a day, like 100 words is a few sentences. You would have to buy. You would have to buy in mass. Like 100 words is just nothing.
But they would be, yeah. I guess it depends on how expensive they would be, and if like would individual, 100 words. But like then, if it was expensive or whatever to buy words or whatever else, then like if you like said "I love you" to somebody out loud and not just with emojis or whatever, you'd be like,
it would make it that much more impactful.
He's the one. He used some of his 100 words to tell me he loves me. I don't know. Like that kind of shit would be.
Yeah, saying I love you over text would mean literally nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, humanity right now is already crumbling. You know, text is becoming much more important than calling people. With this, it would probably crumble. Like nobody would call anymore.
No one would talk at all. It'd be like, what's the point? I only get a. Like, what happens if you go over? That's the other thing is we didn't talk about what happens if you go over your word limit, or like, is there a penalty? Like, what? Like, how do they keep it in check?
You explode.
Actually, I mean, I imagine like my profession probably wouldn't exist, because I don't know. Like, Twitch would just become a chat room. You wouldn't broadcast, because like that would just be wasting words.
Right.
Or broadcasters would have to buy words in bulk.
Unless they were like signing or just writing on whiteboards, which kind of happens now. So maybe.
I would just grunt. I would grunt a lot,
dude. Oh man, God, the eating category or whatever would really explode, because you could
social eating would be everything.
Yeah, because you could just eat. You wouldn't have to. You know, you're making noises. They aren't words.
Yeah.
That IRL category is done for. It had a short run.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still do in real life stuff. You just couldn't say. You just couldn't say what you were doing, or you would have to really limit it. I mean, I think
you would be out hunting for people using words. Like if you overheard a conversation, you would know it must be important.
True, exactly. Or like it's so funny when words become a currency like this. If somebody gets drunk, and then like so you go to a bar and like so you can tell somebody's getting drunk because they're starting to just use their 100 words and they're just saying sentences out loud. You have to like text him. You're like, Chuck, what are you doing? He's just like, I don't care. I'm drunk. It's like, you're at 98 words, Chuck. Stop. He's like, fuck you. There's like, there's so many things that you could do with this. Actually, it's an interesting concept. I don't know.
We would all walk around with text to speech.
Yeah,
like speakers on us.
Ooh,
just to remember the old days.
Yeah, it is funny to think about. I mean, you're right. It would just inevitably humanity ends up just doing everything they can to work around the problem.
I feel like 100 words is close enough to zero that you'd basically have to adapt your entire life to not speaking.
Yeah,
I think it would be different if it was like, let's say 5,000 words, or I don't know, 3,000 or something, where you could have a conversation, like one conversation in a day, and that wouldn't put you over the limit. But 100 words, that's not even like a 1 or 2 minute conversation. That's actually 15 seconds or so.
Could be over extremely fast.
It would be limited to like emergency situations. Like, would you want to be in an emergency and not have any words left? You would have to bank your words. Like, you would just not speak for days to bank your words, just in case you needed them.
Exactly, that's true. That's what you could do. Yeah, you would have. They would keep track and be like, "Wow, dude, he hasn't spoken in over 60 years." And then you tally up like he could talk forever.
He could retire. He could retire by selling how many words he has.
That's right. That's right.
Now, and wait, this is like, so if here's taking it to the next level. If you can sell and buy word, like, points to use words, and someone just
Right.
has a whole bunch of words saved up and they pass away. Like, is that
Right.
something that now you bequeath to your
Inherit.
children? That like
Yeah.
your children can now, you had like hundreds of thousands of words saved up, and your children can go around and talk to people, but they can't talk back because they don't have
you
hundreds
could,
of thousands of words.
And
Is
to my youngest son, Joel, I bequeath my 70,000 unused
Is that
verbal words.
Is that the
Grandma,
new? Is that the
stop,
new
you're
like
using
the
them up.
new high class? Like the new high class thing would be
Yes.
just going
Yeah.
around and talking to people and just
Yes,
saying
it
just
would.
nonchalant garbage, like singing random things in public, just like wasting words.
It would. It would. That's exactly right. Because what do rich people do? They like to show off their wealth.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, this is the song that never ends. Like, oh my God, here come the fucking douchebags again, throwing their words around.
Oh man.
I can't believe they're doing that. Dude, no, this concept really goes, it's really cool.
It would change the whole world.
And if you were bilingual, then you get like basically 2 uses a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how that would work.
Exactly. Timmy and Chad's talking about the Justin Timberlake movie, the one In Time, where everybody has a certain amount of time. Like it's the same, time is currency, right? This is just replacing kind of words with that. But I do, yeah. So it's definitely a concept that's been done. I just don't know if it's been done with words, but I think it's even almost inherently more interesting with words because that's such a huge.
It is interesting to
our
me
society.
to think about this this word exchange, where like
Yeah.
let's say you're homeless or something, but you have this word allotment, and so if you just don't talk, like you know, you can pull
I'm
yourself out of
curious.
poverty by just not talking, and
Some people can't help themselves though.
selling your words
Like,
on the exchange.
I know I wouldn't be able to help myself. Also, like especially think like if you get goaded into arguments and stuff like that, and you're not
Oh,
used to
yeah.
this, like you can do certain things over text, but certain things like you just got to say fuck out
That's
loud.
actually how the rich people would just would shove it in your face. Is they're upset with you and they tell you, and you can't tell them back.
can't
You have to text
respond.
them back.
Yeah.
Some people just start walking around like Spider-Man 3 was a fantastic film.
I wouldn't be able to hold it. That's I'd be in poverty very quick.
I want to watch the world burn.
Dang, dude. That's a really interesting concept. That's a cool idea. I don't know. Wow. I feel like Brian has emailed us a lot with a lot of really thought-provoking questions over the past.
See, these are good.
couple
That's like a good question there. You can come
really
up with
good.
something like that. You're
Send
going
those
to
in.
get on the cast.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
good.
Okay.
Should I continue my streak and take this next question?
Go ahead, Kate.
All right, next one's from Not So Ordinary Gamer. He asks, "What subreddit describes you?"
Wow. Well,
This
let me
is,
load up Reddit right now. Get some of my faves.
Well, I know Scott's.
I know. What are you gonna say?
His is our neckbeard nests.
God.
What? That's an.
What is
Wow,
this, by the way? I don't
neckbeard
even know what
nest.
that is. I'm scared to look it up.
Actually, it's really messed up. Don't.
I'll look it up. Oh God. All right, I'm not gonna look it up. Now I'm curious and I have to. What is this?
So,
Oh God. Is it just spelled? Oh.
I think I've got my answer.
what's yours,
I would
Kitty's?
be r/old men with rulers.
That's what most describes you.
Oh God. It's people that. Oh. That's disgusting.
Just kidding, Scott.
What the fuck, by the way? It's people that are just absolutely disgusting and never clean up after themselves and just have like just
Nests.
God. Yeah, nest is a good way to describe that. Some of these.
I just thought that was a funny word for it. But
God, it is. They really do though. Like once you have that much crap like around your desk or where you set up, it is like a nest. That's a good way to describe it. God, that's nasty.
mine's r/ooer, OOER.
What's that? Should I look it up? Is that safe?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's safe.
Oh, it's a bunch of awful CSS. Boy, that's
I'm getting sucked into this.
that
Oh,
I am triggered already.
God damn it. I would be r/no sleep. That would describe me.
Ooh, I forgot about that one.
That would describe me.
So
That's a great subreddit.
Also, Katie Zen, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Why is this your subreddit?
it's a good.
I feel like
Old men with
that's a pretty
rulers.
interesting choice. Because I feel like he said it too quickly for him to have
Yeah,
looked
it's
it up.
like I fucking browse this every day. You know what I mean?
Like this is what KD. Like
What? I don't get what the problem is.
no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it contributes again to your age for me, where I'm like Katie is like
Yeah, we're going with that, and then also, I think I'm very analytical. You know,
Mhm.
so I feel like
You're gonna be that
I've
way
used a
when you're
ruler
old.
before.
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna be
old
one of
men
those
with
old guys
rulers.
with rulers. Yeah.
Well, I think every old man has used a ruler. It's just interesting. This is in that realm of very obscure, but like, I mean, listen, stop asking fucking questions, okay? It's fucking old men with rulers. It's a simple concept to grasp.
I was gonna
it
say,
is
yeah,
simple.
that's actually. I mean, it is pretty simple. Like it is exactly what you think it is. Straightforward, to the point.
What's yours, Brandon?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot to choose from. I don't know what best describes me, but I'm gonna just say r/birds with arms.
That is a good one.
God damn it.
I feel like that's a classic, and it's one of those where you really don't think you're gonna get into it, then you're like, okay, yeah. You start looking at a couple, and you're like, yeah, you know what?
God damn it.
That would make birds really weird.
Oh, these are good.
You know what's another good subreddit is r/am I the asshole? And people ask Reddit if like they're actually
have
like
seen that.
from their
Yeah.
perspective, if they're the dickhead. And
Damn.
I don't know. Yeah.
Reminds me of the buff seagull. Just that classic
Yeah,
image.
that's I think that's kind of what started it, at least for me.
Yeah.
The seagull with arms. That's pretty horrifying.
Oh my god, the cover image of like the two birds like sword fighting.
Good.
That's a good one.
All right, someone struck through this one, but we're not gonna have.
That's a good one though.
This is important.
All right, this one's a winner. This might finest question of 2017 easily. It's from I Sit on PC.
Is
He
it?
asks,
Is it on PC?
oh, is it on PC? I thought
I hadn't read the name that way, but I kind of like it. I sit on PC.
I Sit on PC.
It could be I Sit on PC. I haven't looked at it like that either.
That's what I've always read it as.
This changes the game, dude.
Uh,
This changes the game. I Sit on PC asks.
I sit on PC. Anyways, the question: would you rather die peacefully now, or live with no arms and legs until you're 98?
Good God.
Being
No arms and legs.
Would
I'm
you
gonna
rather?
be a cyborg, dude. It's 2017.
yeah, get some implants.
Dude, that's probably longer than I'm gonna live anyway. So 98, hell yeah.
Think of all.
It doesn't answer how you die when you're 98. Because right now I die peacefully, but
At least you know.
I mean,
See,
that's
the other
true.
way-
At 98,
at
it
least-
probably doesn't matter.
I mean,
But here's the thing.
No, like,
it's easy for me to say, like, I guess die now, but then that's like choosing, like, it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to go right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you live till 98. I mean, it would suck. I mean, it'd be terrible. No arms, no legs.
But see, here's the thing though. If you were gonna live until you're 98, that's you got almost 70 years.
Yeah,
So
what could happen?
In 70 years, like who's to say that you're not you're not actually better off in the long run because they just replace your appendages with cyborg arms and legs, and not as good as
No, you're right.
the real thing, but it's not bad.
No, I didn't even think about the fact that you could get prosthetics or robot extremity. Yeah, that's totally
Maybe
true.
the question is how far up do they cut off your legs? Do you keep genitals? That seems
important.
I would
It
assume
doesn't
so,
say your
yeah.
genitals are gone, so I'm just assuming that you do keep your danglers.
I think
but
if you keep
maybe.
genitals, it's an easy no arms and legs.
Agreed. No
Yeah.
genitals though. That makes it tougher. I think.
And I guess, I mean, you would have
Yeah, if
to
you have,
you would basically have to get prosthetics probably pretty much immediately. And so let's say there's probably like a few years where it's not great because you have to learn how to use prosthetics to try and get around or get around in a wheelchair. But you can still enjoy stuff, and you can enjoy stuff for 70 years. So you're just like,
Yeah,
once you
if
get used to
you-
it, you're like, all right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you're right. You would learn to live with it. It would be tough.
if you still have your genitals, you have no arms, no legs. You could be a motivational speaker. You'll be rolling in pussy, and you're set. 70 years of pussy. People.
How do
No
you just
breathing.
transfer just instantly from motivational speaker to 70 years of pussy with no arms and no legs? Do you know something I don't know?
Have you seen
Is there
those
like a
guys?
massive? No, I haven't. Is there a motivational speaker that gets laid a lot that has no arms or no legs?
Yes, there is. There
Who is it?
absolutely is.
Send it to
It's
me.
this guy with no arms, no legs. There's a great shot of him and his wife on the beach with
I'm
their
sure
kid.
there's a
I am-
subreddit for that.
Subreddit. Yeah, that would be my choice then.
Um,
I just feel like this would you rather is not that difficult because like dying peacefully now, it's like, oh, do you want to
Yeah.
do you want to die or do you want to not die? It almost wouldn't matter what the other option is. Like I don't really want to die right now.
that's what I mean. That's what you're right. This is tame enough where it's like you keep your genitals, arms and no legs, but like you live till 98. Like that's a long life.
I
like
think
you
it
said,
would-
How
70
about
years.
how
It
about
would be
this?
the
I want to
only thing I
modify
could
it.
think of that's close is like, would you rather just like be a head, like no arms, torso, legs, anything? Would you just live as like a head or something?
How about
That
this?
is then a
Like
challenge.
Futurama shit.
Yeah.
Like I call them.
Oh, in a jar.
The
Well, then you have
celebrities.
to sit in that museum all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want to modify it this way. Would you rather die peacefully after 20 years or live with no arms or legs for another 70 years?
That's tougher for sure.
Mm.
I think if you knew you only got 20 years, I might actually choose the no arms, no legs.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Because you get plus 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Plus 50 years for no arms, no legs. I think you get used to it after a few years. You have a bad few years, but like, is it worth 50 more years to have a few bad years and then kind of enjoy the rest of your life? Once you get used to it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's really crazy how much like, God forbid any of us lose our reproductive equipment, but at least for guys, like the question, like, is your dick still attached? But that's a huge, like, there's so much time we spend with our dicks, and even if you don't have any arms or legs, you'd have to get real creative. Maybe you could become, a speaker like Katie said and motivate people, and you get all of the,
You just have
all
to
of the
make
action.
make some
But
good friends.
You could learn to, dude. You could probably just learn how to like flop on the ground and get yourself off, like a dolphin or something, or like you would do whatever you had to do, dude. You could get creative, and I bet
think of
there's
all the crunches you could do.
the
About how
crunches,
portable you are.
just hurling your
I have
your
to
body
imagine
towards any-
the first thing Scott would do, like while he's on the waiting list for prosthetics, the first thing Scott would do is become limber enough in the torso to
Yes.
self-fillet.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I would lose whatever weight is required, dude. If I've got no arms or no legs, I got nothing to like. Yeah,
You
I
could be
really
like a
need.
crime lord too. You could be smuggled so easily. Like if you have no arms or legs, you could be fit into like a briefcase very easily. You just slide right in.
You actually just become a secret agent because now you can fit in places you're not supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. Is there a way I could take that last option? Can someone just come over here, remove my arms and legs?
I was gonna
Wow,
say,
Katie's
I think
super
KD like is just, you know what? We don't even need the would you rather. I just now want to live with no arms and legs.
Good God.
That sounds like a Katie's end question, like coming out to that outcome, like an old school. No arm or leg.
All right. Well, I think we need to step up the would you rather game. I think that one was kind of easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next one here is from I Am the Seth. I think I read that one pretty correctly. He asks, "What is your least favorite gas station food to eat while on a road trip?" I mean,
I would expand that to be
Least
just least favorite gas station food.
Yeah.
isn't that? Yeah, that's what he said. Oh, or yeah, not on a road trip.
I mean, yeah, like
yeah, just in general.
in general.
Well, I mean, when I think of road trips in particular, like I always have this, like I'll see beef jerky and I'll be like, that's a good choice. And then I inevitably always fuck up my mouth eating jerky. Like whether I don't know what it is. Like if I don't know
How?
if I'm not chewing it properly or like I just cut my mouth up with it because I'm chewing beef jerky that's like not good. But I inevitably always regret jerky for some reason at the end of I don't know.
Really,
Maybe
I feel like jerky is a
solid.
solid choice because it doesn't get all over your hands. Like it's pretty easy to eat.
Convenience wise, it is. I just never end up having. I just always end up regretting it, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not cut out to eat jerky. But
Yeah, that sounds like that. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how you cut up your mouth eating beef jerky, but
It's possible, dude. Maybe I just go at it.
Maybe you're on some different stuff than I've had.
You don't just pour the entire pack in your mouth and just start chomping down because that's usually what I do.
I mean,
tree bark isn't turkey, right? I mean, yeah.
Even if I did that, I just you just keep chewing, and then eventually it digests.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, there's some real chewy ass beef jerky though. Like
that's true. That's true. No,
you
definitely have to be careful. You got to be careful only getting a quantity you can handle.
Exactly. I think that's maybe what it is. I underestimate the chewiness sometimes, and I'll just be like, yeah, I can take that piece, and I'm just chomping and chomping and chomping.
Yeah, you got to take a little less than you think you want because it might last you a while.
Oh God, Timmy's reminding me of what we did at TwitchCon. 7-Eleven taquitos at 3 a.m. after eating dirty IHOP Express. That is a true story. We went to a
that fucked me up,
IHOP
dude.
Express, and then Timmy got fucking taquitos
IHOP
that looked like they've been sitting.
What changes an IHOP to an IHOP Express?
Imagine all of the class of an IHOP. That's a joke, right? Removed from it, and it's even grimier than anything you've ever experienced before.
Okay.
So it's like a smaller kind of operation. Yeah, they call it IHOP Express. They have a more limited menu than like a normal IHOP, and you order at the front, and then they bring it to you. I don't even know how to describe it. Next time, Brandon, I'm gonna have to take you there because it is an experience.
Don't do it.
Wait, that was Brad that got the. Wait, that wasn't you, Timmy.
I've never come into contact with an IHOP Express.
I didn't know it was Brad.
It wasn't me. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. I thought that's funny. I thought that was
after
Timmy that got those.
After Timmy and Scott rused me into thinking my plate wasn't dirty, we went to.
Oh God. I mean, it was so disgusting. Like it didn't even seem like the dishes were washed. It was horrible. Sorry.
Yeah, we were a little. I think I don't know. We had a little to drink, but anyways, I was like, dude, I'm still kind of hungry, and there's a 7-Eleven nearby, and I got taquitos.
But those those were not like they weren't just any taquitos, Brad. Those things had been sitting on the grill.
Dude, they're like hard as a rock. It was gross.
From like 9 a.m. and then it was like 3 or 4 a.m. when Brad was eating them. The next day, it was foul.
Yeah, man.
I feel like that is the biggest gamble. Is anything warm from the gas station? Sometimes it can be fine, but you are taking a huge gamble. Like gas station hot dogs range from being completely acceptable to absolutely revolting.
Yep.
And you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you don't. It's a risk.
I think my worst or my least favorite is like the sandwiches, like the prepackaged sandwiches.
Oh God.
Yeah, because I remember once like I just had to get some like real food. We were like on some kind of road trip or something, and that was the place we stopped at. And I was like, I don't want chips. I don't want any of this. I just want like a sandwich or something. And it was so gross.
Real food in quotes. Yeah, the prepackaged, like good for 5 days, but like around day 3, it's been sitting in the case and it's like got condensation on it. It's so gross.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
everything looks and tastes fake. It's just
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I would say that I would try and say that's my least favorite, like hot dogs or something, sandwiches. But I don't think I've ever gotten one of those items from a gas station because I just it's too risky. Like when I think about health risk, like on one side of the spectrum is like fine dining steakhouse or something, right? Like very little risk of anything they have there, even raw things or whatever. Whereas on the completely other side, I think about like egg salad sandwich at a gas station. That's the
I'm not gonna lie, I've eaten 7-Eleven egg salad sandwiches before.
Yeah,
I cannot think of anything riskier than egg salad sandwich at the gas station. That is the definition of health risk.
Yeah, no, it's risky. Honestly, though, sometimes the risk, like hot dogs, can be perfectly good. Like if you're really, hankering for a hot dog, dude,
No,
sometimes
hot dog is cooked. That's not much of a risk. But I think about like the cold sandwiches
tuna,
at a gas station.
They do tuna too. Tuna is like so risky. I mean, egg is too, but oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Least favorite gas station food. I don't know. I mean, generally, the thing is, I only get things that I'm kind of comfortable with at a gas station. Like especially on a road trip, you don't go with unknown things on a road trip. That's the rookie mistake, is you get something that your body's not used to, and on a road trip, you're gonna have a bad time. So stick to pro tip: stick to things that your body can handle well, and don't take chances on a road trip.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Wow.
Cool.
Some really thought-provoking questions this week. Katie, thank you for doing the new releases and viewer questions. This is not even in your contract to do both and work this hard, but
I went above and beyond this week.
You really did, dude. I'm impressed. Really impressed.
I don't know if I should do the iTunes reviews. That'd just be too generous. I don't want to hog.
Yeah, you know what? All right, I'll take. Oh my god, these are so long. I will attempt to take these back. Let's blow these up a little bit.
We do have a couple iTunes reviews.
We do.
And if someone wants to get an iTunes review read on the podcast, how can they do that, Scott?
How can they do that? They can go, if they don't have an iTunes account, they can create one in just a matter of seconds. Steve Jobs will send you an authorization email, click verify account, and then you can go and search for the KBMOD podcast on iTunes. You then will give us 5 stars because that's what this deserves. You then leave a review. It can be a question. It can be a comment about how much you love the cast. Anything will do. Just make sure to give us 5 stars and then be creative. Use your creative juices and spill them all over the page. And there is a possibility of us reading the review, as we will for these two. Our first one comes from Nighttime Brawl.
Well, I think we should do them in time order.
Okay,
true. The first one. It's a shame that we didn't have this one for our last cast before Christmas.
Yes, that's right.
But I think I'm still this review puts me very much in the holiday spirit.
It does. You're right. Okay, sorry. This one was on December 18th, and it's by Charles Deep. Charles Deep. It's by Charles Deep Dickens, and it is called A Christmas Peril. So this is here we go. Okay. It was a cold winter's night throughout EA's house when nothing was stirring, not even a Death Adder mouse. When suddenly a voice shook Patrick as if it was thunder that pulled him most suddenly from his slumber. "Who's there?" he shouted, beginning to flex, but he was surprised to find himself at his desk. His heart began to calm, yet still feeling faint, he realized he must have simply been working too late. Then the voice returned, indeed as loud as thunder, whose presence nearly tore Patrick asunder. The figure stood dark, with a shroud upon him. The fear gripped Patrick as if facing his worst sin. No, please, Patrick cried. Don't come for me. The figure said, no, I am here for your player base on PC. Patrick stumbled in reply. Wait, BF1 will be supported. You have my word that everything will be ported. The figure looked right at him with an abyss for eyes and said, and yet, I do not find this a surprise. Then wait, Patrick said, what do you want from me? The figure answered, you will soon hear from the spirits of Podcast 3. Just as it had arrived, the figure then vanished, leaving poor Patrick in his state of panic. Then Patrick stood there, feeling elated, sure that he must not have fully awakened mad at himself, and grabbing everything he could snatch, he packed up his bag to go home to Mrs. Batch. Charles Deep Dickens owns. Wow.
Oh man, that was god tier.
That was pretty,
someone
pretty
spent
good.
some time on that little
Pretty creative.
prose right there. That was very creative.
Man.
Charles Deep
Oh, it
Dickens.
rhymes.
Patrick being visited by fucking.
Oh,
I can't, dude. Clearly a developer for EA. Patrick was so
yeah.
very
That's-
interesting
that's-
story.
Not everyone had a great Christmas. Scary.
No, absolutely. That's terrifying.
When
Terrifying.
nothing was stirring, not even a Death Adder mouse.
That was good.
Great line.
Of all the people from EA, you picked Patrick Soderlund.
Patrick.
No, please, Patrick cried. Don't come for me. The figure said, no, I am here for your player base on
Based
PC.
on PC. That's just incredible.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
there's so much gold in here. There's that, and then
This is
the
really well done.
it will be supported. You have my word. Everything will be ported.
That is some
good
good
one.
stuff there.
Those are some bars, I think.
Nice
What
job,
they say-
Deep Dickens.
say in the business. Beautiful. All right, we've got one more. Believe it or not, we're not done. This one comes from Nighttime Brawl, and it's called "I'm Just Joshing You." Okay. From Google, Josh Tatum was a deaf mute, but a very enterprising young man from the Midwest. In 1883, the U.S. Mint came out with the new nickel. It was deemed the Liberty Head nickel, and on the reverse side had a large Roman numeral V stamped on it. The new nickel did not have the word cents or nickels stamped on it. Josh Tatum noticed this and the fact that it was nearly the same size as the U.S. $5 gold piece, which at the time was used as common currency. What the fuck am I reading am I reading a copy pasta from Wikipedia? What is this? With the help of a friend familiar in gold electroplating base metal, they turned these coins into a literal gold mine. Tatum went from town to town going into shop stores and mercantiles. He was very careful not to purchase anything that cost more than a nickel, where he would hand over one of these gold-plated nickels. The clerk would accept the coin and in most instances gave Josh back $4.95 in change, which he would happily take. By the time law enforcement had caught up with him, he had visited hundreds of towns and had amassed a small fortune. The law prosecuted him, but ironically, he was found not guilty on the most serious charge because he only purchased items that totaled 5 cents. And because he was deaf and could not speak, he never represented that it was a new $5 gold piece. The same year, the U.S. Mint added the word cents to the Liberty Head nickel in an effort to bring this type of fraud to a halt. Hence the famous saying, "You're not joshing me, are you?"
Oh,
All that was to get to
wow. All right, awesome. I think
Wow.
didn't we ask for that in like an earlier
I think we
episode?
did. I think I asked. No, I absolutely asked for that in one of the episodes. I asked, "Where does the term 'you're just joshing me' come from?" And this is
Wow.
clearly
Oh, okay.
the case of a deaf mute who was a very enterprising young man in the Midwest.
I'm gonna have to do some fact checking on this story. I don't know if it's real, but I hope
Yeah,
it is.
I hope, like, if this is actually made up, it's actually even more amazing because of how like it's written, and somebody just was like, "Yeah, I feel like it's too accurate to be false," but maybe not. People are pretty clever.
I mean, he said it was from Google. He didn't claim to have made this up.
That's true. That's true. He did say from Google. So For a second, when it first started, when he said from Google, I thought he was implying that like somebody named Josh had started Google or some like, and then I realized he said 1883, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. He actually literally meant from Google. All right, well, thank you. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I asked for information, you guys left it in a review. I mean, it doesn't
I
really
think
get better
our
than
reviewers
that.
this week have been pretty generous. We get a very creative poem that that Charles spent a lot of time on, and then we get a little history lesson about a nice colloquial English saying.
God, so good.
Man.
All right, so now you guys know these. I mean, these some pretty easy metrics for you guys to hit. Though I have to say, the the poem from Charles Steve Dickens it's going to be tough to beat, but that was great. I'm glad even if it was a little bit late, we did get to read that. It's a true gem. So, all right, I think that's going to do it for episode 261, our first episode of 2017. It's good to be back. Thank you guys for listening. You guys can, of course, check out kbmod.com for all of your PC gaming needs. We've got news, reviews, previews, build guides. Of course, we have multi-stream as well if you'd like to watch multiple Twitch streams at the same time. You can follow KBMOD Gaming on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming. Brad is at Hutchison15. I am at APL Fisher. KDZen is at KDZen18. Volition is at VOL1TION. And
one thing I want to bring up before we go. Right now, AGDQ 2017 just started today,
true.
so that'll be going all for the next week. So
Why'd you have to remind me? Because I was just gonna go to bed right after this because I really need to sleep. But now I'm
just staying
looking on my phone.
Right, we didn't even talk about GDQ.
Yeah. One thing too going on, they're doing. They always have the Yeti, like the YETEE. They always do T-shirts every year. There were some really cool designs on there right now. One thing they're doing, so they always run Super Metroid every year, and they always have donation wars for saving or killing the animals at the end of the game. And they have this coin you can get on the Yeti, where it's like this limited edition. They have some good art on it that is like save or kill the animals, which is really cool. I'm really tempted to get that. So yeah, definitely either for that or some really cool shirts. Don't miss out on that, and also enjoy the event and consider donating.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, that'll be on all week. So if you have free time, twitch.tv/gamesdonequick. It's all for charity and it's 24 hours a day. So if you haven't seen it before, then say goodbye to the rest of the coming week.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have seen it before, then good luck trying to manage doing anything else with your time.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Thanks again for listening, guys, and we will see you next time. Farewell.
Yatta!